Everybody, what's happening? What's happening? Wow, evening bell, evening. I'm already there. She is. She's already here. Courtney's here. Wow, y'all get here so fast. I tell you what. You know what? Here.
Rune Dannon, Crown Prince
Enjoy.
of the Valbaran Fae.
There you go. For y'all getting here so early, you get a little freebie. How about that? Little freebie. Haha. we gotta reward those for getting here early, right? Otherwise, what's the point of getting here early? You was in the shadows. Haha. Crescent City. Yeah, I told you. How is it? How are you liking it? What's up with that? Where you at on that one? I'm excited to hear. Wow, we're halfway. Hey, beautiful. Are you okay? Dum-dum-bum. Waiting for everybody to get here. Well, you hurt you. How'd you hurt yourself? Also, why is your... I got it. Thank you, love. I have to make it a little bit larger. But thank you. Thank you. Yeah, yes. Also, why is you appalled us? Oh, I did? So far, I'm not too far. I think chapter 5. You like Danica and Bryce? Yes, Danica and Bryce. They're good dynamic. Yeah. Great dynamic. Connor? Connor? Yeah, Connor's Connor. You'll see. Connor's Connor.
What? What's happening?
Courtney just started Crescent City. She thinks Bryce and Danica are a good dynamic, and she's trying to figure out. And she's like, "Connor, what's up with him?" And I'm like, "You'll see. Connor's Connor. Aww. You know what I mean? Bryce and Danica, they got a crazy little dynamic."
Connor, my man.
And then, Belle's nice. 2 chapters left of the tandem. Let's go. Nice. Oh, look. Emily, I snorted this snort. I snorted. Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
You'll know when you're in chapter 5.
You'll know. You'll see. We'll see. It's good stuff. Yeah, if you're already hooked before the end of chapter 5, then you're good to go. It's awesome. Hey P, what's up? Doesn't Liz? She always looks snazzy. We don't go. It's funny. We go school pickup lines and hang around the house, and she looks snazzy. And I mean, I got a pretty cool shirt on today. So I ain't gonna lie. I got a cool shirt on today. I had a cool shirt on earlier, but then I don't know if y'all saw my scene switch. I was pretty proud of that one. And then I noticed my shirt kind of flew up a little bit, and I was like, oh. TikTok's going to get me for adult.
Skin.
Oh no, I haven't started chapter 5. Nah, what did you say?
I said some cockpit moves coming back.
Oh Lord, here we go. Why can't we just leave the past in the past? Leave the past in the past. That's funny. We got Pixie here. What's up, girl? What's up, Pixie? Oh, anyway, so as we sit here and reminisce, haha, we got Pixie here. Oh, we got Lisa here. What's up, sweetie? What's up? Thank you for the joining. Whew, I got to turn my audio up just a hair, I think. There we go. Nice. How is everybody doing today? We're doing good. Liz doing good. She had a pretty cool day, I think. Thank you for the populars, Fatina. Yeah, she had a fun day, I'd like to think. Pretty chill. Pretty fun. Me, I filmed some videos, and then, I'm not gonna lie, y'all. Listen, y'all, we've been having a pretty crazy, week period, can y'all believe what's happening? I don't know if y'all paying attention down in the Discord, but What is happening?
A voice actor, an author, and a wise guy walk into a bar.
Right? A wise guy, a voice actor, and an author walk into a bar. What did you say? Like, what? I just finished like posting videos too, and then I saw that. Thank you. Woo, excuse me. And Gypsy Gemini, thank you. Excuse me, man, my throat just got all crazy right there. If you put, I'll go ahead and take care of that. If you, I can grind it under. No, okay, here's no. All right. What? Nothing. We haven't done any. And why? What is in my throat? Anyway, we haven't done anything yet. We just been sitting here chilling. The bartender asked, "What's with the steering wheel in your pants?" Famous. I tell you what. That's what she said. We already are famous. I ain't gonna lie, but this is crazy. I was shocked when I just saw her there. I was expecting like, oh, this was cool, and then she was like, this is the funniest thing I've seen on the internet today, and I was like. What did you say? Oh, man. And then, yeah, we'll talk more, I guess. We got to wait. How many people are here? Oh, I gotta, hang on. I forget.
Wise guy is driving Emily nuts.
The wise guy? What wise guy?
Me too.
I'm doing it.
Well, I'm just kidding.
I'm driving people nuts. Why am I driving people nuts? What did I do now? I'm probably everything. I'm not supposed to be talking about that yet, I think. I gotta wait. Because there's only, I think, eight of us here so far. So we gotta wait. A joke. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
The author, the wise guy, and the voice actor walking into a bar.
Oh, I get it. Okay, let's start it. We're there. We're slow. I'm slow today.
There's a delay.
It's not that. I'm slow today. It's spent every day. Hooray! Yeah, my mind,
Big head.
that's what she said. Oh, but a bunch. So, we'll wait for some, excuse me. Let's see. Well, since P is here, P, you were in charge of El Buttonos last night-o. Right? I think it's time to retire almost. Would you like to pass the buttons off to thine buttoner of the collar of tonighter? Button pusher. No.
Is it Belle that wanted to abstain from that? I can't remember.
She's like, I don't remember. Oh, and she says, I choose Belle. Belle, do you accept the responsibility of the buttons? They are being bequeathed to you.
You don't have to remember numbers. It's fine.
Doth thine accept thine buttons? For it is a... She accepts. Ha ha. All right. The butt 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, there's still just 8 of them. All right. There are 8 of them, as you know. Well, let's see. We got to wait until at least... There's only 9. What is there? I have button besties. There's only 9 of us here right now. All right, we gotta wait for a few more people. Yeah, Q is I think Q abstained. She did it. V also said, V was like, yeah, I don't want to do this no more. It was so much responsibility trying to remember. It was pretty fun. It was pretty funny. All right, yeah, we only got 8 of us here right now. 8 or 9 of us. Everybody's starting to come in here. We only been a few minutes. Just about. Okay. Okay, so P, what was this? How did you know that? How long did it take you to find out that? Wait, we gotta wait to talk about that still. Like she shared it, she reposted it. What did you say? I'm shocked. Anyway, so I don't even know what to say, honestly. I really don't know what to say.
Slabber's been gassed.
Yeah.
Bro, speechless.
You're not
Barely
I am shocked. Like, listen. I get it, okay? I am listen, we gotta be honest, okay? I'm a niche of a niche of a niche of a niche. I'm like 4 niches in to a niche. Crap, I'm gonna have to catch up all the videos. Oh no. So, but yeah, so I understand like how far down on the niche line. So I don't ever expect to be famous. Trust me. No, not or nothing. But man,
The other day when I was clicking around in there, I accidentally turned on that arrow thing with the lightning.
yeah,
100.
yeah.
Click on it. It says Bernicia? Question mark. I don't know if I was promising somebody that you would do something or not, but I don't know what I was doing. When
Cool.
I put that there. I'm so sorry. I don't know how to take it off now. But it will say
Cool.
or
Hey,
look
maybe
at it.
there we go. Maybe it's a goal for lightning bolts. I guess I don't know what you did. What is it? I click on it and that happens. Oh, there it is. Ernisha question mark.
Question.
Pin your goal to show your viewers. It's a viewer goal. Here, did we pin it? Pinned your viewers. There we go. We have a goal. I don't know what that did, but yay, we pinned a goal. Okay. Oh, it did? Well, there you go. I don't know.
What you're gonna do when you hit the goal? But
Yeah.
I guess something with Ernisha.
Some winner Ernisha. Okay, but anyway, speaking of Ernisha, speaking of Ernisha, yes, we have seen the convos. We have seen the convos in the cord, okay? Referencing Ernisha, and the agreement has been made. But I'm going to add a little twist to it. We're going to add a twist to it, okay? We're going to add a twist. We're not just going to put horns on Ernisha. That's not what's going to happen. Okay, the best way I can describe it is everybody has seen How to Train Your Dragon, right? And everybody remembers Hiccup's dad and how he had the helmet with the horns. Hey, Vegs, we're going to make Ernisha a helmet with the horns to put on, so my helmet will have a helmet with horns. You see what I'm saying? That way Ernisha is protected. We'll be double protected. Layers, okay? So that's what exactly. So we're working it, and so we're looking for plans, and then modify and size and all the Lizzie stuff that she does, and then but yes, Lizzie. I said Lizzie stuff. Listen, words are not wording right now. Words are not wording. Longhorn horns, part Viking, part... That's funny, right? And wise instead of stoic. Yeah, exactly. See? We get it. If not, you can... So, it's like the little... And they got the horns, and... Do we want one broken horn? I think we should do the broken horn. We can... There's a pattern with 2 horns that are normal, or there's a pattern with like 1 horn that's broken. We can... Oh, the scab ripped off? Ooh. It's okay. Yeah. It's gonna tickle for... Oh, hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, let's give a round of applause for Nika! What's up, girl? How you doing? What's up? The broken horn? I think the broken horn will be cool too. We'll have to see if Liz can get a picture, and then we'll show it. Oh my Lord, we made it. Okay, 5K. You hit your first goal of 5K likes. Bell. You get a button. You got the button. Ooh, put them in a weird angle too. I like that idea. I knocked the buttons over. Oh, and then she said 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we starting with 6. Here we go.
Make you kneel, watch you break. I take whatever I decide to take. Leave my mark so everybody sees that you only worship on your fucking knees. Pull your hair and tell you you're my whore. Hurt you till you're begging me for more. Yeah.
So, I got this one, but it's really, it's hard. I got one, but it's pretty hard plastic. So I'm looking for a foam one, but I do have an axe, and I mean, I got one. You know what I mean? I'd be scratching my head with it, but we got one. And I do switch the buttons. Don't say I don't switch the buttons. Why wouldn't I switch the buttons? It's not real, Tiki Talkie. Look, it's fake. It bends. It's fake. It's fake. Entertainment purpose. Look, it's a back scratcher. Anyway, so yeah, that's what we're working with. But we pay attention all the times. Okay, we'll put the axe back because it's heavy too. That's what she said. All right, here we go. We'll put that right there for now. All right. Woo. Thank you. Thank you, Nika. Appreciate that. But yeah, so for now, we're still just gonna keep the sword because I can hit myself in the head with the sword and it doesn't hurt. So that's pretty cool. Hey girl, how are you doing tonight? How we feeling? Hope everybody's doing good in your neighborhood. All right, we got 12 of us here tonight. Okay. We're still missing a few. I think I might still be at work or something. Who knows? Oh, thank you, Nico, for the gifts. Thank you, mamas. Thank you. Mama. All right. So, man, we met. Okay. Fomax added to the list. Y'all are funny. So last night's story, man, we met everybody last night, didn't we? We met so many people. No, he's here. Or he was here. He was here, wasn't he? I thought we saw Sean. Oh, well, I'm glad it's girl. It better be tears of joy. That see, better be tears of joy. Nothing. They just didn't think you was here, Sean. I told him you was here. I was like, Sean's here. He jumped in and said, "What's up?" All right, good. As long as it's joy, that's all we doing around here. Unless it's from the the book. That's the only tears of sadness we bring around here. All right. You thought DJ put PTO? Y'all are funny. Okay, so I think we got. Oh, there's 10 of us here. When do we? Does everybody know? Does everybody know the good news? Does everybody know the good news? Has everybody heard? Did everybody see it themselves? Chapter 5 video, if you don't know what I'm talking about. Comment section. Wild AF, y'all. That's all I'm gonna say. Wild. Oh, Courtney, you don't know yet? Ooh, okay. So we got one person that don't know yet. Nice. Let's see, who else? Right? It's crazy. And it was in the wild. I don't like. Oh no, I'll tell you, it's okay. Or if you want, you can go look. Yeah, but it's a chapter 5 video. But like, I know when Rob, like last week, Rob, the voice actor for Riddick, when he found us, he was tagged in the videos, right? And he was like, "Oh, cool, and really cool. I've been seeing all his videos now, and y'all should go. If you don't follow him, y'all should go follow him. His videos are freaking great. Learning so much about this guy. But anyway, so yeah." And then all of a sudden today, I just posted the videos. I made the videos for today, and then I edited them and was posting them. And I just happened to go look, and there it was. And I was like, "No, that's got to be a bot account, right? Yeah, that's going to be nope, that's the real thing." I didn't know what to do. I was like, "Help, I need an adult. I don't know what to do." I ran straight to the cord and was like, I like started putting in my retirement packet, and it was crazy. And then P went all paparazzi mode and started telling us everything. It was crazy. If one of those ever were to comment, yes, I think we would all get watery bowels. Absolutely. 100%. The weirdest thing, what's the weirdest thing ever? Isn't that crazy? Isn't it crazy? Ooh, there's the back. Ooh, the back popped. I like it. I'm still, what is the craziest thing that ever just happened, P? Or are you talking about that? The weirdest thing ever? No, it just happened. So if it just happened now, then it didn't happen before. I got a copy of Dawn of the North from Penguin Random House. I won it. What's Dawn of the North? Is that the... You got that's legit. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Congratulations. You know what? That deserves one of these.
Rune Dannon, Crown Prince of the Balbaran Fae.
There you go. The random hand jumps in. What the heck? Winner, winner, chicken dinner. That's awesome for you, P. That's so cool. Y'all see Rune's hand come alive really quick? That was crazy. All right, I need to come up with the button number rules tonight. I have the first edition, the Polar Express. Yeah. Remember my favorite author talking to me about her book. So cool. Heck yeah. Okay. So we're going to do 5 per button. And then I'm thinking what we'll do is however many people are here, we'll make it that many K. And if y'all get that many, y'all can get a full tour. You think that sounds fair? That'd be 1,000 people per. That's 1,000 clickety clickies per people. I think it seems pretty fair. What do we think? Do we think that's fair? I think that's fair. She said, I won a book I already won. No, thank God. At least you won some. And we are bubbles. That's funny. Star Sword. You think that sounds fair? Okay. I mean, we'll see. You get more people in. I mean, that it's no matter what, it'll just stay the same. So you got to press some fingers. Y'all gonna end up buying them little clicker buttons, aren't y'all? A display. Ooh, there you go. A display copy and a write-in copy. When you can tab up. There you go. You won't feel bad about it. You can tab it up. Tab it up. Man, where's DW? Has anybody seen DW? I haven't seen her since she was getting her hair did today. That's all I saw. She was getting her hair did. And now I don't see her. This is the way. Feel bad for marking. I can understand that. I felt bad for accidentally ripping the one book. But we don't talk about that. We don't. Oh, there's your 10K. All right. There's your 10K. What you got? What you got? What you got? Boom, boom, boom. What buttons you want, Bella? I plan a major marketing strategy. Hey, Miss Wolverine, what's up? She said 2. She said 2. 2, 2, 2, 2. And oh, wow. Y'all found that one quick. What is happening? You just got done grocery shopping. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. That's always fun when you get that done. All right, what's the other button, Bell? You got one more. And then we're going to try to get started within the next 5 minutes or so. Because there's a lot of pages tonight. I think it's 7. I think tonight's like the second or, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Carissa, I'm with you. Actually, I prefer hardbacks over paperbacks too. Until y'all got me this Kindle, it was hardbacks. I like to hold the book. I don't like it flapped over. I'm with you. I like hardbacks. I prefer hardbacks over paperbacks. That's me though. Aha. You are not alone. That's why all my books back here, all my books are hardback. If I buy a book, it's going to be a hardback. Yes, it'll be a hardback. So, there we go. All right. I think we're going to get started here. I was hoping DW was going to show up. Right? Rip or bend them. Exactly. I'll fold the pages back and I'd be getting into it. I'll be like, paperbacks are for marking, hardbacks are for fair enough. That's fair. Makes sense. Make a sense. Dora. I know. You can go on with live now. That's funny. Does everybody know? I haven't seen DW since she posted she was getting her hair did in the cord. That's it. And I haven't seen her since then. So maybe she's going to the opera. Is she going to the opera tonight? I don't know. But yeah, so it's pretty crazy. We're in our niche of our niche. We are semi-popular, I would like to say. I think it's pretty crazy. New Yorkers don't know how to act when we get random hot days. Y'all still got a lot of snow up there in the streets? Yeah, but they've had so much snow for a while. It's like all piled up in the corners on some of the stuff I've seen, but it's melting, so I don't know. Oh, she says not at all. Okay, cool. You got a little bit of heat and it melted. Nice. 75, yeah. Tornadoes. Wow. Yeah, most of this winter down here, we've been 70s. We've had a few 40s and stuff, but we've been 70s. It's been rainy down here, but still warm. 80s in Virginia. Good Lord. We're back to global warming. You can buy book glue to fix torn pages. I'll have to try. Maybe I can do it. It's like that's all. I got 3-inch rip. It was pretty bad. I'm ashamed of myself. Then Courtney's like, "No, we back below 30, rain and snow." That's crazy. Oh man. All right. Well, it's 8:30. I guess I think we just. I was hoping she was going to get there, but she didn't show up. But I think it's time to get going, so that way we get enough time to get it in. That's what she said. Shh. Yeah. Has anybody shot her a message in the cord? A DM in the Discord? I'm just saying. You panicked for what?
Oh, no.
Boom. She's like, no. That's funny. All right. So P, are you gonna shoot her a message and then see what she says? I'll make sure everybody's okay.
She didn't want to hang out with us.
Right? Is I haven't seen Nika say anything in a minute. Is she still here? No, not Demi. DW. How about DW? Okay, cool. All right. She might be like coloring or something. That's fine. No worries. I wasn't sure. I know she ain't gonna be here a lot, and I'll make sure we had a good connection because last night her last message in the quote was at 8:56. All right, cool. I wanted to make sure because I know you've been so busy lately and you missing the end of it. So we had a crazy episode last night where all of a sudden, like halfway through, it just got all crazy worried. So we'll make sure. I don't know what that was, but some frame droppage. All right. So last night we met. Let's do a quick review. We met Skadra. The clever tongue. And she working for Queen. And she's supposed to go find old Scylla. And then Scylla was walking down the road. And then met Vegdis. And her nephew, Dallas. Or whatever. And then the chicken with the winter eggs. And then they got to the bridge. And then old girl was there, but she covered her face in the dirt. Then she got off, and then she went to the Owl Inn, and then she chilled out, got some food at the mead hall. And then at the mead hall, we met the Blood Axe crew. So we met them, and then they got like this big ass mission for like 10,000K and shit. So we got that. And then after we did that, they went on their trip. And she snuck in, and then they found her, and then she went to sleep. And that's where we are. Oof, you need to pack for your trip, Q. No. Priorities first. Pack for the trip. Work first, fun later. Kansas City, Missouri. Emphasis on the Missouri. Ah, that's funny. Multitasking. Okay, as long as we're multitasking. All right, so that's where we are. Let's get started with our chapters for today. Got my drink. Let me get my throat parched. Ready to go. All right. The Road of Bones. A wise telling. Chapter 11. We are in Wreckford, apparently. Okay, I just had her fucking name and I dropped it. These names be killing me. Screga strode into this longhouse, 24 tattooed faces turning to watch her at once. Like a Clenar garrison halls, the Wreckford branch was sparsely furnished. A great table in the center hall where they took their meals. The hearth where they gathered to drink ale after patrols. Small rooms at the front of the longhouse used for instructional sessions, or in today's case, interrogations. Pressing her lips together, Straga ignored the stares. In the years she worked for the Queen, she'd grown used to them. With the exception of Commander Thord, the rest of these Cleaner did not know her as Galdra. Oh, she's a Galdra. Okay. Though it was likely they wondered how she was so adept at drawing admissions. Skadra was on the arrangement with the Cleaner of Wreckford. She went wrest confessions from those they brought in, and in exchange she claimed the most interesting among them for the Queen. Of course, ample solace in the threat of a slit throat had ensured the Queen's signet interest in Galdra would never reach her husband's ears. What King Ivar would do should he realize his own wife broke his laws, that would have stolen hundreds of Geldry away for her own purposes. Skeldray could not guess. One of the Cleaner stood at the bare pelted draped around the shoulders. Commander Thord, striding to her. His mouth was hard-lined. Skadra Silvertongue, he greeted her, beckoning into one of the chambers at the front of the house, small and sparsely furnished. It was a room the Skaldra had used frequently before. Rushes torches mounted on the wall cast lights upon the woman sitting on the chair. In the middle of the room, the woman's arms were bound behind her back, her pleas muffled by the iron bridle that the Cleaner so loved to use. Yes, said Skadra, her eyes settling on a small mole on the woman's forehead. This is her. I remember her now. I am pleased to hear this, said the commander. Finally, with the respect in his voice she knew she deserved. Thanks to your information, it was not a challenge to find her. After days with no sign of the curly-haired girl Skadra had skewed with anger, how could she have slipped through her fingers? The problem has been the fear. The Clonier inspires so much fear of the population, it is difficult to sense out who stood out. When she pointed out to the Commander Thor, she simply said, "It is our job. A healthy dose of fear keeps the rebellions at bay." What? So wait a second here. She can sense them because she is them. She looked directly at her in the back and she didn't. Okay. Either she couldn't sense her or interesting. Okay. Once Skadra too had been among those who feared the Clonier. Now she saw them for what they were, witless beasts on the leash of a king of Magnus Hansen. After 3 days on the bridge, they called off the search, but it nagged at Skadra, this unshakable feeling that she's missing something. Staring at the rafters above her head, she'd run through the days in her mind. Curly hair, she muttered, curly hair. It could be easily concealed by braiding it back or wearing a hood. A hood. Maybe a bright red-ass hood? An image flashed in her mind. A girl in the back of a wagon, her face smeared with dirt. The hood of a red cloak pulled over her head. Could that have been her? She had sensed fear on the girl. I sensed fear in her, Skadra had said, though the boy beside her, his anger was distractingly loud. Neither of them, which had been out of the ordinary. But the scar, what of it? What of that? I did not see a scar, but she was so filthy she looked as though she bathed with the pigs. Skadra had forced an image of the girl into her mind. Red hood, strange vial tethered around her neck, chicken baskets of chicken stacked around her, and small speckled eggs, winterwing eggs. She rode in on a wagon delivering chickens and winterwing eggs to the wharf. Skadra had told the commander about after bursting into the garrison hall. His eyes had flared at that. Winterwing eggs were a rare delicacy, and this detail was sure to identify the woman. But Skadra's stomach had hollowed out as she had waited. The girl had slipped right under her nose, and her highness would not be pleased. She was to be apprehended at all costs, and Skadra had failed her. I will find her, Skadra had vowed to herself. I will set things right. And now here they were, with the woman in custody. The Clonier had tracked her to the farmstead nearby, returning her to Reckford so that Skadra could question her. Where is the boy? Asked Skadra. The woman's gaze turned dagger sharp. Boy? Asked the commander. There was no sign of a boy. Skadra examined the woman. Her homespun wool dress was pitted with small holes. Her boots needed of replacement several years past. Despite her shortcomings, the woman held her spine remarkably straight. Remove the bridle, she said Skadra, pacing the room to examine the woman from all sides. Wild coils of anger looped from her, twining the smaller threads of fear. Curious that the woman was angrier than she was afraid. Very curious indeed. The commander loosened the bolt in the back of the bridle and the lift of the iron contraption from the woman's head. Skadra rounded to the front of the woman, sinking into the chair across from her. Red markings curved around the woman's jaw and beneath her nose, where the bridle had sat upon her face. Excuse me. What's your name? Skadra asked. It was always best to begin with an easy question to gain a sense of captive's emotions. As Skadra expected, the woman clamped her mouth shut, the ribbon of anger burning brighter. But beneath it, Skadra found a thread of fear, and she jerked it to her roughly. Satisfaction spread through her eyes as she watched the woman's eyes widen and flutter. Her head soon fell back as her breathing quickened. Whatever memory Skadra had taken over her consciousness. It was a trick she learned over the years of mastering her Solacer skill. Okay. She's a Solacer. She could enhance or dampen emotions. Okay, so she's like Kat. Hey, Sean, this girl's for you, Sean. Sean, you're gonna like Skardra. You're gonna like her. This is for you, Sean. This is for you. She like Kat. She fucks with emotions and shit. It's a weird kink to have, Sean, but if you like it. She's hot too. Hey, there you go. It's a win-win. It's a win-win. I'm telling you. All right. Okay, so she's a soul skills, so she could enhance or dampen emotions, yes. But when she pulled on a thread tightly enough, she discovered memories associated with that emotion that could be drawn forth as well. Oh, stay out of my head. The woman blinked, and when the pupils dilated, Skadra knew she was back on firm ground with them. We can do this the easy way or the hard way, said Skadra slowly. You, the woman sputtered, her pulse flattened at the base of her throat, and Skadra knew the echoes of her most terrible memory clung to the woman. You're Galdra. Her eyes darted to Commander Thorne. Why haven't you put her on a pillar? Skadra kept her gaze steady. She enjoyed this part of the interrogation when the accused realized she was no ally. When they looked at the Clinier for salvation, as expected, the commander was unmoved. She has proven herself quite helpful, he murmured from behind Skadra. The woman sent Skadra a glare which could shatter stone. You are a traitor to your kind, she spat. Traitor. Ika's words echoed in her mind. Traitor, traitor, traitor. The thread of fear grew slippery in her mind's grasp as anger kindled in Skadra's veins. She shook her head forward, forcing in a calm breath. I am an opportunist, mused Skadra, mastering her own emotions. I do what I must to survive. She leaned forward, bracing her elbows on her knees. What is your name? The woman pressed her lips shut, shaking her head vigorously. Skadra smiled, yanking at the thread of fear once more. The woman grasped, letting out a low wail as her head fell back. They always did this, forced her to show them what had happened when they did not provide the answers she needed. And Skadra would admit she realized this part of the process. Is it freezing up? Are we freezing? Oh no. Oh my. I don't see no losses. We'll hold up a second. Make sure. Is anybody freezing? Courtney says she's good. Anybody else? Belle says she's good. Okay. I guess it might be you, Veg. Sorry, sweetie. Here. We're sending internet. There you go. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Tiki-taki.
Time for a button.
We're almost done with the chapter. Chill. Golly. All right. No, moaned the woman, her hand limbs beginning to tremble. Even the book says no. Skadra wondered when she saw a loved one's last breath, the violent act of a husband, a terrible accident. After several long seconds, the woman gasped again, her head jerking up and eyes fluttered open. Vigis, breathed the woman, her pulse racing even faster now. Skadra was somewhat disappointed. The woman had confessed so easily. We are not here to play, she reminded herself. We are here to find the girl. Vigdis, repeated Skadra. Where is the boy? Your nephew, if I recall. The thread of fear looped and coiled until it surpassed anger in breadth and brightness. Skadra allowed her senses to reach out, to thumb gently along it. A reminder, you will not find him, said Vigis, her anger growling once more. Skadra smiled. A thrall to her emotions this woman was. And what of your niece, Vigis? Confusion landed first in the woman's expression, followed soon by understanding. Yes, said Skadra. You knew we sought the woman, and yet you shielded her. Anger scratched up Skadra's throat. This woman was the reason she'd been deceived, the reason she'd been shamed in her queen's eyes. Where is she, Vigdis? She asked, stammering on the thread of the woman's fear. The woman who rode in the back of your wagon. She wore a red cloak. Vigdis breathed quickly, pulse racing anew. I don't know, she grasped. I left her at the wharf and I have not seen her since. Skadra's own anger flared, and Vidya's fear slipped through her fingers. Control yourself, she urged. Do not let your emotions best you. After counting to 10, she searched for Vidya's new fear. What did she tell you? Skadra gritted. She grew tired of these games already. The girl needed to be found, needed to be bundled on Sundik's bonded ships before the queen discovered Skadra's mistake. Vigdis pulled her lips around her teeth, her eyes lifting to the rafters. Skadra tugged on the thread of her fear, not hard enough to bring forth the memory, but just hard enough to remind Vigdis what was at stake. I'm not unreasonable, Vigdis, said Skadra softly. I will leave your nephew out of this, but only if you tell me everything you know of the girl. She strummed on the woman's fear, watching her pupils dilate and the muscles of her neck strain. If you do not, Vigdis, I will make things very unpleasant for you, and then you will find your nephew and make things very unpleasant for him. Like all Clean commanders, Thord here had been instructed in the art of the blood eagle. Oh, God bless it. Do you think your nephew's heart would give out before his lungs were pried from his chest, or he would live through the whole ordeal? North, spattered Vigdis. The girl goes to the north on the road of bones. Where? She demanded. Vigdis shook her head. She did not say, I swear to you, on my life. Skadra watched in satisfaction as the woman's brows drew together. A thread of guilt spooled larger. Oh, Vigdis, cooed Skadra. You did what you had to do, and now I will grant you the mercy of a quick death. Damn! Drawing her hevret, she slashed across the woman's throat. Looking deep in Vigdis's eyes, they were widened and gradually diluted. The commander huffed behind her. We could have used her for a quota. She could have been put to a pillar. Skadra felt the touch of the man's irritation in the air, and her skin pricked. It is a man's world in which we live, Skadra, her queen had told her. In that calming voice of hers, let them think us lambs when truly we are the wolves. Lamb Skadra was not, and she did not for a second believe the commander thought her one. Wiping her blade clean on the dead woman's skirt, she tuned to examine her more closely. Without Vigdis blaring emotions to drown them out, she could sense the commander more easily. Irritation, yes, but also fear. And a touch of lust. Now that was interesting. But beneath the rippling filaments of the Commander Thorne's emotions was the golden thread, thin and delicate, and the one most interested to Skadra. The urge to draw to her, to play with this thread was strong. Long, and she pondered the purpose of the golden filament, unique to only the Clinier. But duty called, and she needed the Clinier on her side, needed to appease his pitiful male emotions, and so she smiled. And the commander instead. This must be kept quiet, she said Skadra. The Kreen will send recompensation for your time and discretion, Commander. Skadra made her way to the door. Where do you go? Asked Commander Thord. She paused in the doorway. I'll go north. I'll go north. I will travel the road of bones. Okay. I tell you, hi, Drogy boy. Hey, buddy. Skadra, I thought she was going to be like an inside inform, like maybe that was a Mercy Schmill. I think that was Mercy Schmilling, honestly. I think she good people. I think she going to try to be good people. I hope so. Okay, how are we looking on buttons? Ooh, 23K. I think that's, yeah, you got it. You did. You got them all. Son, you did it. God bless America. Okay, you want to start high or low? You want to go a certain order? Or you just want me to go 1 through 8? Wow, Belle's making this easy. Belle is making it easy. Man. How do you want it? Hey, buddy boy. Wah, wah. 8-1. Here you go. think that one seems to be most favorite so far. What about that one? I think there's one more that's like, oh. Alrighty, we got.
Bannon, Crown Prince of the Balbaran Fae.
What's up, baby? All right. There we go. The fire drape. The fire drapes is wild to say. That is wild. All right. Are we happy? Oh, okay. Yeah. Since you caught it. Yeah, I was trying to slip one by. Here you go. I was hoping I might be able to slide one by. I was just trying. I have to try, right? I had to try. All right, I shouldn't have picked that one of all buttons. I should have picked a different one of all buttons. I shouldn't have picked that one. All right, dang it. She's like, I got notes. She said, I'm tabbing the live tonight. Okay. Oh, that's funny. What did I just... That's funny. Okay, really quick. Has anybody heard from DW yet? And then we got 3 more buttons. I think you still got 3 more buttons, Bell. And then we're going to get started on the next chapter. You can't fool me, button man. I tried. That's funny. Button man. 3, 2, and 6. Here we go. 1, 2. And for once, I was actually counting to find the Shadow Daddies. Ah! Six, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Think you need to watch you break. I take whatever I decide to take. Leave my mark so everybody sees that you only worship on your fucking knees. Pull your hair and tell you you're my one. Hurt you till you're begging me for more. Yeah.
I don't know. That's a badass song. I don't care what nobody says. That's just a badass song. Plus the picture, man. Everything about that's cool as hell. All right. Here we go. Okay, we're starting at 27. What song? I have to get that. I think it's. I don't want to give you the wrong one because I just pulled up 2 of them. I have to remember that. I owe you that answer. I'll get you the answer. I don't want to give you the wrong answer though. I don't remember. And there we go again, folks. She said, "Hit it again."
Watch you break. I take whatever I decide to take. Leave my mark
TikTok, believe it or not. Found it on TikTok. Ha! All right. Chapter 12. The Road of Bones is where we are going. All right. Yeah, I'll get you the name of the song after this. I really will. I don't remember the name right now. All right. Here we go. Chapter 12. Thank you. Thank you. It's pretty cool. Y'all did it too. It's not just me. It's y'all. It's y'all too. Y'all are here. Y'all are here. You're here. All right. Here we go. You want that one more time? She said one more time.
Make you kneel, watch you break. I take whatever I decide to take. Leave my mark so everybody sees that you only worship on your fucking knees. Pull your hair and tell you you're my whore. Hurt you till you're begging me for more. Yeah.
All right, there you go. She said Shazam. Is Shazam still a thing anymore? I think y'all played me again. See, that's why y'all got me. All right. Anyway, make you kneel. There. Okay, yeah. There you go. P. She said she was going to Shazam the songs. Yes, iPhones can still. Oh, okay. There you go. Make you kneel. There you go. Hey, how you doing, M.A. Levy? That's the song. There you go. I did not know Shazam was still a thing. All right, let's get into it. Road of Bones, chapter 12. All right. The Road of Bones. The little blonde girl. Fuck this, Carol Ann! This little blonde girl. Okay, seriously, really quick. P, and me and Carol Ann, we about to be like, I'm about to be dropping elbows on this little girl, okay? I tell you what. That little girl, that little ghost girl ain't done nothing but made me second guess everything and motherfucking make me hungry. Like, you know what I mean? It is crazy. M.A. Levy, we are reading The Road of Bones by Demi Winters. Demi Winters, The Road of Bones. Book 1 of the Ashen series. Haha. So that's what we're doing. All right. So anyway, I'm just saying that Carol Ann, she's a ghost though, MJ. I should be allowed to do that, right? She's a ghost. Oh, you gonna put it in the picture? Okay. There you go. Put it in the picture. You gotta put a little on the. There you go. You have to turn that one off. Anyway, all right. Let's get into it. All right. The little blonde girl was there. Disheveled hair clung. Her sweat-dampened forehead, her upturned blue eyes wide. Scylla grasped the girl's cold, clammy hand. Footsteps sounded, and the distance echoing off the walls, glowing louder. They were approaching. The girl ran her free hand across Scylla's cheek. "Look at me," she whispered. "Just breathe. We're not alone. Mala and Marna are with us." Indeed, the light of the sister's moon shone through the window, and a pillar of milky light stretching across the stone floor. Under the table, the two girls cowered, their little bodies pressed together. Thank you, love. Scylla did as instructed. She looked into her eyes, then breathed in deeply through her nose and out through her mouth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It almost felt as though it would work for a second. The footsteps reverberated. Sorry. Every time that you have to blame Ronnie Radke. Anytime I see the word reverberates, I just got to go, reverberates. Sorry, harshly off the walls now. They would be, oh, thank you for the gifts. They would be here soon. There were so many of them. Scylla screwed her eyes shut. They know where we are. Her grip on the girl's hand tightened. The door burst open and Scylla opened one eye. Just a sliver. Just enough to see feet. Ooh, we showing up. The dogs are out. Too many feet. They were surrounded by the sounds of shuffling boots and scraping wood against the stone as furniture was moved around, and then it happened again, just as it had every time before. The girl was yanked backward and her hand ripped free from Scylla's, and the high-pitched scream erupted from her throat. That scream didn't come out the right way. Anyway, a sound which would haunt Scylla after she woke. "Don't leave me," the girl cried, her hands wrapped around Scylla's waist, and she was pulled away from the girl. She opened her own mouth and screamed. "Curls," said Jonas. That was a scary ass scene. All right. Shaking the woman's shoulder as she knelt beside her, her dark arched brows drew together, lips parting as she made to scream once more, cursing under her breath. Jonas slid his palm over her mouth, giving her a not so gentle shake. She did not stir. He clenched his teeth together, glaring at her. The troublesome woman had been with them for bare hours, and already she was causing problems. If she were to scream once more, she might draw the beast from the forest. He placed his mouth beside her ear, but grew distracted by the smell of her hair, sweetness mixed with the scent of the forest. Vampire deer, Jonas reminded himself. Grim wolves. If it had to draw his blades to the arse hours of the night, he'd kill her himself. Curse Ray and his indecisions. What in the internal fucking fires had his headman been thinking? The Blood Axe crew had a reputation to uphold. They could not afford to hand out free rides, especially not when there were thousands of solaces on the line. Katrin, he whispered, proud of himself for remembering her name. Finally, the woman's eyes flew open, and the whites flashing wildly in the moonlight, her brows shot up, and her mouth widened further. Cursed woman, you cannot. Jonas was interrupted by a hot flash of pain, and her nail sank into his hands and sliced across his skin. Fuck, he exclaimed, falling back and releasing her. Katrin flayed, kicking out. She tried to climb to her feet, but the rope secured to the tree grew taut, causing her to fall to her stomach. It would have been amusing if the terror wasn't so palpable. If Jonas' hand did not throb in pain, recoiling, she pushed her spine back to the trunk of the tree. Jonas scowled at the woman. If she screamed again, if she drew creatures from the woods, it wouldn't happen on his watch. Look at me, Katrin, she said in an authoritative voice. You're all right. Her brown eyes darted to them and quickly away. Jonas' irritation flared. Imagine your favorite place in all of Isildur. Close your eyes if you must. Her eyes closed and she breathed in the sharply through her nose in an image. I'm sorry, love. Imagine you're in your favorite place. You're safe. Nothing can reach you there. The woman inhaled, and Jonas was pleased to see the pulse in the hollow of her throat calming. Where did she go? Her brows drew together as she pushed the intrusive thoughts aside. Unbidden, Jonas' hand found the hammered silver talisman in his pocket. Thumb rubbing across the etched surface, silently he watched her breathe. Eventually, the woman's eyes opened, and she tilted her head to the starry skies above. You cannot scream out here, glowered Jonas. There are grimwolves about and other things. My apologies, said Katrin, quietly. I thought you were... She shook her head. Nothing. I'm sorry. Her gaze fell into his hands and widening. I didn't mean to scratch you. Are you? Go back to sleep, Jonas muttered, rising to his feet. He turned on his heel and made his way back to the fire to continue his lone vigil on night watch. The sun had arisen, but the cloaked gray clouds as Ray stared at the woman curled beneath the lindu tree. Using her sack as a pillow, she pulled her crimson cloak around her shoulders, and one of the fur from their wagon on top of that. Dark lashes fanned out against the pale skin, shining liquid trickling from her parted lips. She was drooling. Ah. He frowned. What was it in the eternal fucking fires of that was obnoxious, of obviously woman doing? Blah, 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 blah. He frowned. What in the eternal fucking fires was this obvious woman doing out here in his wagon in the midst of the biggest damn job they'd ever done? A lost lamb amongst the grim wolves? A warband of schmurderers? Who prowled these parts? He should do her a favor and grant her a swift schmeh by the blade of his axe. That had been the plan that night before, but as Ray had moved to draw Jones's dagger across her throat, something had stopped him. He couldn't be certain what it was, the whispering of the gods stirring in his blood. All his eyes had fallen upon was a crescent-shaped scar at the corner of her eye. He hesitated. In his line of work, Ray had learned to make difficult decisions quickly. But that pause, it had changed everything. It was just long enough for the woman's words to penetrate him, for the seed she planted to take root and grow. He had suffered for that pause all night, indecision plaguing him, bringing her or schmill her. It shouldn't have been a difficult choice, and yet here he was, still undecided. When you get soft, it sucks when you get soft. When you get soft, people get schmilled. The only words of Ray's former mentor rang in his ears. Oh, God, what's his name? We call him Cracker. Well, Cracker might be a terrible man. He'd survive as long as he had for a reason. In this country, it was schmill or be schmilled. And if he couldn't trust those who fought and rode and slept beside you, you were as good as dead. Jonas had told him Jonas told him as much that night before. We cannot afford any complications with this job, he had said, an eagerness in his voice when Ray had not heard in many long months, years. Perhaps, if he was being honest. There was truth in Jonas's words, and in Cracky's words, Ray knew what must be done. It is a merciful thing to end her. He urged himself, reaching for his sword, but something tightened in his chest, and it happened again. He paused, gritting his teeth. Anger flared in Ray's gut. What was he questioning this? Why was he questioning this? This woman had crawled into his wagon, had disrupted his plans, had heard things that she was not meant to hear for her ears, and had earned a bite of his blade. What if she can get the information from Cracky? The thought of which had afflicted him all night materialized like a fog on the winter sea. She could be the key to retrieving the information they needed. The gods knew Cracky wouldn't be willing to hand it over to Ray, not after the departure they had had. He certainly had a look to her, and if she'd seen Cricky's lust after time and time again, Cricky likes him young. Oh, what a weirdo and sweet, Ray thought with a curl of his lips. Not something he held in common with the man at all. Glowering at her sleeping woman, a war raged inside him. He'd already gone over it 1,000 times in his mind. Schmill her today and stay true to Magnus's rules, or use her to get the information and figure the rest out later. Keeping her risk their lives. If the Heart Eater were to discover they'd willfully shared the details of this job, he'd determine retribution paid in blood. He'd demand retribution paid in blood. But going to Istri without the information they needed was also a considerable risk. Proper preparation for the job was the utmost importance. They needed that book. And Ray knew he required something to sway Cracky. It was just possible about this doe-eyed girl with the so-called golden tongue could be the thing they needed. His decision made, Ray nudged her in the hip of the toe with his boot and watched her stay awake. She blinked and sat up, looking around, her eyes landing on him. Ray saw it. The moment she recognized him, the moment everything came back to her. Her eyes tightened, and with a quick inhale, she recoiled. His brows snapped together, and she scowled at him. "Tell me your plan," he grumbled. "Plan?" she repeated, her voice husky with sleep. He inhaled sharply through his nose and spoke. "You get us the information we need. We'll take you as far as Cracky. Here is the nearest town to Sculla Ridge. That's a week's ride." She gasped, her eyes shining with ushered tears. Ren frowned at the sight. The last thing they needed was a weeping woman traveling with a blood axe crew. This was a mistake. He should cut her throat and put this mess behind him. "Thanks," she exclaimed. Sprang to her feet and lurching forward, the rope binding to her tree caught and stumbled back. Ray scowled at her. "Your wits do not impress me thus far," he muttered. She was not trying to smile, but it was a losing battle. And more than her smile grew, the more the grimace deepened. "This is a terrible idea," he said aloud. "Plan, woman. How do you retrieve this information from him?" Her smile faltered. I must learn all I can of this Cracky and study his weaknesses, his vices, and use them against him." Ray stared blankly at her. "Where's this so-called golden tongue of hers? His weaknesses are pretty girls and Brinzas. That's enough for you to work with." A pink flush crept across her cheeks, and Ray huffed, looking away. Blushing, weeping women armed with nothing but a hammer. Not even a war hammer, but a God-forsaken woodcrafter's hammer. Oy vey. This would never work. He opened his mouth to say as much, but she beat him to it. "I won't seduce him." Her words were edged with a surprising layer of conviction. And Ray's gaze slid back to her brown eyes. There was a thin band of gold encircling her pupils, he noted. "You virtue more than your life?" Ray asked, trying not to show his amusement. He wouldn't let Cracky lay a hand on her, but for some reason he was in no rush to tell her this. Let her squirm a bit. Penance for her transgression. Who says my virtue is intact? She snapped, and his amusement escaped the form of a scoff. Ray was not nearly as prolific as Jonas, but he could read women well enough. The woman's eyes narrowed and she started at him. Ray blinked. He was uneased to strangers, holding eye contact for so long. He prided himself on his ability to unnerve others with a single look. He'd earned the name Axe Eyes for a reason. After all, after a moment, the pink in her cheeks deepened to a red, and the woman looked away. Satisfaction swelled within him, and he knew he'd read her right. She was a maiden if he'd ever see one, and it will get the information without the need for that, muttered the woman. As you wish, said Ray. He stared at her, and his hair was in a wild mess of curls, pine needles, and a bit of moss strewn throughout. Despite this, she looked like she belonged at Usur's house and working with the handsmaidens for simple Jarl's wife, not traveling with the Blood Axe crew on the road of bones. Mistake, he thought. She'll be nothing but a distraction when you must be pulling your minds together to plan for this job. Anger flared in his stomach, anger at this woman for placing the weights of the decision on his shoulders. But it was done. He made the choice, and there was only forward. If you're to travel with the Blood Axe crew, you'll need to follow the rules, woman. Catrin, she said, fire flaring unexpectedly behind her eyes. You may call me Catrin. His eyes narrowed. There are rules. 1. You do as you're told, and stay. You stay. I say run, you run. Understand me? She nodded. Ray held up a second finger. 2. You're honest with us. In your line of work, if you cannot trust the men and women beside you, you're already a fool for the corpse vultures. No lies. You understand, Catrin? Something passed behind the woman's eyes as she nodded. I can cook for you. Irritation flicked inside of him. He knew what she was doing, trying to worm her way into the crew, trying to earn a right all the way to Copa. That would never happen. Not on his watch. He raised a third finger. 3. You speak of this to no one. If others discover you know of this job, I'll be forced to schmill you. If the man who hired us finds out you know of this job, all our lives are at risk. Her throat bobbed as she nodded once more. We must stop for provisions in Svarta. If you touch anything in the wagon, you talk too much, you give me any reason to suspect you'll bring danger upon my crew, let me guess, she said tartly. You'll kill me. Ray glowered at her, and the woman's boldness seemed to evaporate. He stepped forward to free her, but she recoiled as far as she could, pressing her back up against the tree. His stomach twisted with a deep breath. Ray tried to soften his axe eyes. Would you prefer to eat the day meal with your hands bound? He grumbled. Her lips parted, and the woman hesitated a moment before offering her hands to free him. After working the rope's loop, Ray watched her open her small palm, the heart-shaped rock revealed within. Odd one, this woman was. She carried no provisions, her clothing entirely impractical for this road, and yet a rock that she packed. Ray examined his face once more, and his eyes settling on the bruises on her eyes, on her neck. His fingers twitched. We leave in 20 minutes. There's a stream that way if you wish to wash. Eat something or don't. Turning on his heel, Ray strode towards the fire. In his mind, Kraka's words echoed once more. When you get soft, people get schmilled. Ray exhaled heavily. He was going to regret this. He just knew it. Wow. Okay. All right. Here we go. Okay, we're starting to get some interesting stuff now. I like it. Woo. Okay. Where are we at? 43. God, how many? All right. Where we go? Where we got, Bell? What do we got? You were at 20. Dang. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And next. And the 3, 1, 2, and. And next, my friend. Way 6. 1, 2, 3.
Think you need to watch you break. I take whatever I decide to take. Leave my mark so everybody sees that you only worship on your fucking knees. Pull your hair and tell you you're my one. Hurt you till you're begging me for more. Yeah.
And we still don't know where DW is, huh? What is happening? All right. Are we ready for chapter 13 now? Chapter 2 is a long one. That's what she said. She's not on YouTube. I went and looked. All right. So we're at 45. 17 people. All right, here we go. I don't know where she is. I hope she okay. All right, chapter 13. Scylla blinked as the mountain of a man strode towards the fire. Hello, nurse. Lily, did your hair? You had that JBF look. I'm just saying.
I just feel she was all over my face.
Nice. You had that pussy all over your face, huh? Damn, girl. Okay, sorry. I can't. Yeah, Lily got all up in her hair. Lily, you gonna come show him, or you just? Yeah, here, come show him. You can't have me say this and not show him. It's not gonna right. Like,
I just laid on the couch, and then she came up, and she was then starting to lick my hair, and then she got herself tangled up in it, and it was a whole thing. It was great. Moments like that.
It's moments like that. All right, chapter 13, The Road of Bones. That's hilarious too. Scylla blinked as the mountain of a man stood toward the fire. Ashes. It did start out in a clip, but his presence was intimidating. But now that he'd left her alone, a smile spread slowly across her face. He hadn't killed her, and not only that, but she'd earned herself a ride to town of Hoover at the very least. Now the new door had opened. Scylla would make herself indispensable. These people would eat like kings, and they'd never be able to let her leave after Hoover. Hoover. She wiggled with happiness. No lies, you got it. Catwin. Ray's words repeated in her mind, and her smile faltered. Well, no, she thought. That would not work for Scylla. Secrecy was her cloak of safety. It always had been, and that didn't change simply because an overgrown warrior with frighteningly intensive eyes had deemed it so. As the fortunes would have it, Scylla had grown adept at the lying over the past 10 years. She was confident, and it would not be an issue. Hands finally freed, Scylla gathered her cloak and the heart-shaped rock, fitted them into her bag with the rest of her belongings. The force clung to her skin, and after a moment of indecision, Scylla headed toward the stream. The moment light caught Drew on the gas, glistening like glacial pears strung on each other's blade. Perhaps this was a good omen for the gods, and the sight of her future was bright. The sound of running water met her eyes, a small stream snaking through the field and then disappearing in the groves of trees beyond. Dropping to her knees, Scylla cupped the cool water and splashed it to her face. So cold that it shook back life into her sleepy limbs. It felt like a fresh start to the new chapter of her journey. Sighing with pleasure, she climbed to her feet, turning to her head to the fire. She grasped as she found Jonas standing a few paces away. The golden gleam of his hair drew her attention. Sides shorn short, the top was drawn back and knotted at his crown. Though not as tall as Ray, he was still half a head taller than her. Combined with the large arms crossed over his chest and the scowl on his face, he seemed far less an optimistic man than Drew had been. Ashes, she thought, why does this man despise on me so? Scylla's face flushed as she remembered walking him to the looming over her hair, and her hand clamped over her mouth. Time had slipped, and she thought to herself back to the road near Skadra, the warrior choking his life while her father fought nearby. She'd scratched him deeply and was embarrassed he'd witnessed her in a vulnerable moment. Scylla's mouth opened and asked how his hand was, but he beat her to it. I do not know how you convinced Axis, he said in a low voice, but I will tell you this. We are in the midst of the biggest job we have ever had, and I won't have some fucking mouse come between me and my solace. Mouse? She asked. Anger flared in her stomach, and Scylla's force in a calming breath. She had to win these people over. Had to earn their trust. Jonas' gaze dragged from her, toes up on top of her head, so heavy she could feel it on her skin. Quiet? Complaint? Sneak into the dark corners where she's not welcome. Scylla sworn to burst into laughter. No one had ever deemed her quiet in her life. But this man had clearly already made several assumptions about her. Let me assure you, warrior, she said, nothing holding his gaze. A mouse is quiet, adept at staying out of the way. I am no risk to your precious Sola. She couldn't help the note of contempt in her voice. The man clearly cared for nothing but coin. His jaw flexed as he studied her. Scylla felt her face grow hot and forced her feet to move as she pushed past him toward the fire. As Sigrun fed, kindling to the embers, and the blackened pot hung over, gently licking flames, the small woman's eyes were dark brown, her lips a small bow with the hint of a smile as Scylla approached. Sigrun's hands moved in gestures Scylla did not understand. As Elias jumped to interpret, she asked if you'd like a bowl of porridge. Oh, Scylla said, her stomach growling. That would be lovely. Sigrun scooped the porridge into a wooden bowl with an audible splat. Scylla pressed her lips together as she watched the porridge wobble. Even from where she stood, she could tell it was simultaneously burnt and burnt and undercooked at the same time. That's a fucking talent. I bet my kids could do that. I ain't gonna lie. Oof. Scylla accepted the bowl from Sigrun with a gracious smile. Thanks. A blood axe crew sat around the fire eating in silence. A beat-up steel kettle was passed between them, each member of the group pouring themselves a steaming cup of spiced roa. Sitting on an empty crate, Scylla forced her attention on her porridge, eating it without complaint, even the chewy burnt bottom crust. Did they not stir it? You just gotta stir it, apparently. Oh, my lord. Before she could gather the dishes or offer to help with the washing, Sigrun had plucked the bowl from her hands and done it herself. She wanted to raise white mare secured to the wagon. Large brown eyes regarded her from under thick black lashes. You're a beauty, aren't you? She murmured. Scylla ran her hand on the mare's soft nose, and the horse's snout nudged her. Her smile spread wide. You're less surely than your rider. Tell me how to win this favor, girl. I promise I'll save the good carrots for you. Footfalls crunched in the earth behind her, and Scylla needed look to know it was Reyes. What's her name? Asked Scylla. Mix the burnt parts under the... Exactly, just stir it up. That's all you gotta do. Horse. The horse's name is Horse? Get the fuck out of here. They named the horse Horse. I mean, I honestly respect it. I respect it. Her hand faltered, and she turned on her heel, looking at him. You named your horse Horse? The morning light bounced off Ray's midnight black curls. His thick brows drew together, a line forming between them. I regret this already. Ray rubbed his hands over his eyes. Get in the wagon before I change my mind. My stuffed duck name was Duck. Listen, I get it. Trust me. Our kids, when they were naming stuffed animals, they'd get a bear, they called him Barry, and it was a dog, they called him Doggy, and an alligator be named Gatey. I get it. It makes sense. Valid. I get it. Scylla avoided weathering the glare he made on the way back around to the wagon. Mercifully, they had left half of the supplies uncovered, and she'd settled the pile of furs in the corner, a marked improvement from laying curled on her side in the darkness. But Ray climbed on the wagon after her, the flat bed rocking back and forth with every step he took, colliding the tension in her body higher and higher. He loomed over her like a rain cloud covering the sun. The wolfskin pelt draped over his shoulders only broadened him, making him larger and more imposing. Unease pooled in Scylla's stomach as Ray retrieved a length of rope from his belt and began looping it around her hands. Oh! They secured your ass up again, securing her in an iron circle embedded on the wagon's wooden slide. Scylla's gaze upon his armor the same. She noted all the blood axe crew wore as Ray worked the ropes. Up close, she could see thousands of tiny black leather scales on his armored jacket, highly unlike the heavy shirts the chainmail favored by the King's Claw and other Isildurian warriors. Curious, thought Scylla, as he straightened. I cannot have you plotting to stab me from behind, said Ray. He retreated, jumping off the end of the wagon, or touching my things, he muttered under his breath. Scylla blinked after him. That man needed a hug, a baby, and a pat or pat a dog. That man needs to hug a baby or pat a dog, she thought. Yeah, or get laid. Anyway, digressing. Gazing out the back of the wagon with unfocused eyes, Scylla took the abandoned camp as the cart bounced along the path. The grassy clearing grew smaller, a faint wisp of smoke climbing from the drenched fire, when at last they reached the somewhat smoother road of bones. Scylla allowed herself a small smile. They were taking her to hither. It was far better outcome than it might have been. It was progress. Steps in the right direction. Juniper and pine trees closed in on the road again, obscuring the gloomy skies and the spiky spray of green. After days of desperation, she forced herself to try to relax, but it seemed impossible to accomplish. It was also impossible to keep the memories of her father from springing to her mind. Her life had changed so fast it was dizzying. Thoughts of her father a twisted mess. He died to keep her safe, and yet he'd lied to her all her life. Now she had questions, tormenting and nagging her, and no one to provide the answers. The morning unfolded, and with the dreadful monotony, her eyes went in and out of focus as she drew through the thoughts to Copa, desperate to distract herself from dwelling of her father. Wisps of conversation reached her ears, but the riders kept their distance. The hours droned on endlessly, and Scylla reminded herself that though she was motionless, she was getting closer to Copa, closer to Skegrim, closer to the shield house, closer to safety. Hey, Bobby, 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 Bobby Lee! Welcome, welcome, welcome! As the cloud-cloaked sun edged towards the horizon, a dull ache built in her temples. Scylla entered, her entire body clenched, which only seemed to urge the headache on. Anticipating the pain had been had been her life as long as she had known, and she imagined it would be long into the future. Thanked the gods above for the scold's relief. Knowing she had the remedy tucked against her chest was an immense relief. At this moment, it might be the only thing keeping her together. She needed a leaf, needed two. Listen, two hasn't worked out for you every time. I'm just saying, maybe just stick to one. No, she told herself, you need your wits about you, but her resistance did little to suppress the relentless urges. The leaves could help her forget what had happened in Skadstrad, but her nerves at ease. But her imminent headache reminded her that of the other troubling things. The battle thrones had stolen from her reserves of her leaves, and she had only what remained in her vial. Sylva shuddered at the thought of running out of them. You only have that and you've been double dosing? Okay, we have not been making very good... I get it, you're only 20 winters old, but we have not been making good decisions here. After a bit of struggle with her bound hand, she managed to tuck a single scourge leaf into her cheek and close her eyes as the earthly taste filled her mouth. The sharp whistle from the head of the pack signaled the end of the day. The blood axe crew pulled well off the road of bones, snaking between trees until they came to a stop in an grassy patch. Scylla signed as the wagon stopped, the break in her ceaseless rumble of joy to her ears. Ray wordlessly freed her from the binds, and Scylla climbed the wagon, watching as the crew began their nightly routine. Kneeling beside the iron tripod, Sigrun was pulling a pot and the other cooking supplies from the crate. Scylla took a deep breath and approached. Sigrun, I must give my thanks to your crew and your hospitality. You rode hard today, and while I had the most splendid nap of my life, please rest. Let me cook. After a moment of silence, Sigrun rubbed incline on her head and wandered off a bit behind the wagon. Scylla smiled. At least the woman of the crew seemed kind. Pulling out the cooking supplies, Scylla inspected them. A blackened cook pot, a knife, onions, carrots, a tin of dried rua bark, and one of salt. "You're preparing the evening meal," came a male voice. Scylla's gaze met with Elias's. A pair of dead rabbits dangled from his fist. She smiled at the young warrior. "Yes," she said, causing the cautious look over his shoulder. Ray was nowhere to be seen. "Thank the gods," he said with a broad smile. "Siggy's aim is impeccable, but her cooking... I bet she gonna fuck you up if she hears that. Watch yourself." He grimaced and dropped the rabbits on the ground beside Scylla, drawing a dagger. She looked up at him and she saw it. The profile was undeniably similar to Jonas's. But as he turned to her, the hazel eyes and shade of blonde hair set him apart, as did his youthful appearance. "You are brothers?" she asked. A line formed between Elias's brows. "Jonas is my brother. We are kin, though, all of us here, blood or not." Scylla's smile deepened. "I like that," she said. "Good. Go. Let me butcher them." With a nod, Illa sheathed his dagger and loped off to help Gunnar pound spears in the ground a short distance from the fire to set up a windbreak. Scylla supposed. The wind did seem to touch more frigid this evening. Years of traveling with her father and countless turns of winter spent in the kitchen had equipped Scylla with the ample skills when it came to cooking on the road. She chopped onions and carrots and then set to work skinning and butchering the rabbits. The edge of her vision, she saw Jonas digging out a fire pit. "Arse," she silently cursed him, trying not to look his way. "You can take your cursed souls and put them where the sun don't shine." But her foolish eyes tracked the flecks of his shoulders as he stacked kindling with lichen. The bunch of his breeches around his thighs as he bent low to blow on the flames. Curse him and his handsomeness. It wastes on men with a temperament like this. Thankfully, Elias Gunnar finished stretching a woolen blanket out between the spears and joined Jonas. Blanket out between the spears and joined Jonas for a game of dice, obscuring from his view. The murmurs of voices and rattles of dice merged with the soft crackle of the fire, and the crew passed a flask around. "Hey!" Ray joined them, gesturing at Scylla. "What is this?" "She has offered her assistance," Ray said. "Might be nice to try something different." "And you're all content to rest your lives in her hands, a stranger." Scylla watched silently as the others shucked at Ray, but the big man was not appeased. "We cannot trust her. She could poison our meal." "Why would I poison you?" she asked Scylla. "I need you to get to Copa." "Hoover," growled Ray. "We are not taking you to Copa." "We shall see about that," Scylla thought. "I don't like her." Bitch, you sure about that? You sure about that? But she kept her face straight and nodded at Ray. "She makes a good point, Axe-Eye," said Elias with a swig from his flask. "She needs our help. Why should she poison us?" Ray scowled but said no more. "Oh, who's leaving? Oh, good night, Carissa. Good night, sweets. See you next time. Thanks for joining." And we mean that. Keep posting them Legos. Keep posting the Legos, please. I mean that. They're cool as hell to watch. Anyway, Ray scowled up and said no more. Perhaps was also interesting in something other than Sigrun's cooking. Oh, Sean left too. All right, bye, Sean. All right. For the evening meal, Scylla prepared rabbit stew. It was mindless work, and a meal she'd prepared 100 times in her life, supplementing the scant ingredients in the cooking crate with a gulg of brenza and a few sprigs of Arctic thyme she'd spotted in the fringes of the camp. It was not long before the scent filled the air, and the blood axe crew sent curious looks her way. After serving the meal and passing out the bowls, the group sat around the fire, silent, expected for slurps and scrapes of spoons. Scylla watched in anticipation, pleased at the enthusiasm at which the warriors ate. Jarl Gunnar and his retinue was far more reserved than the Blood Axe crew. Unquestionably eager, they returned for seconds and Ray for thirds. "Best thing I've eaten in weeks," said Helka happily. "No offense, Siggy." The rest of the Blood Axe crew nodded their heads, murmuring in agreement. "The girl worked a miracle," added Gunnar with a grin. Elias ate his vegetables. "What?" Elias ate his vegetables. Shut it, fire fist, muttered Elias. Across the fire, Sigrun gesticulated. She says you're welcome to take on the cooking, said Helga, an amused smile playing on her lips. She said she far preferred to spend time hunting. Hope bloomed in Scylla's chest. Perhaps her cooking would convince them. Surely warriors of all people must place a high priority on enjoyment of food. How do I sign? I'd be happy to, she asked, ignoring the glare in the man they called Axis. Sigrun made a slow sequence of hand gestures. Scylla tried her best to repeat. Unable to keep the smile from her lips, Scylla gathered the bowls, and Gunnar appeared with a bucket of water, and she used to do with the washing. As he placed the last of the wooden bowls back into the crate, Hekla appeared by her side. Have you need to wash? I'm headed to the stream. Hekla nodded to her towards the edge of the clearing. Eager to make the most of the opening, Scylla pushed to her feet. Grabbing her bag, she followed Hekla across the clearing. Now down the sloping hill to a small stream. Using her left hand, Hekla peeled her strange scaled armor jacket apart without the need to fiddle with any fastenings or buckled. Scylla wondered how exactly it held together so firmly during the day. Shrugging out of it, Hekla pulled the tunic beneath over her head with one hand, then tugging it down her breeches. Standing in her undergarment, she twisted off her prosthesis. It released with the soft click. Okay, so who's got the prosthetic? Hekla's got the prosthetic. Okay, cool. Whatever it came in contact with the water. After a moment, Hekla ran the prosthetic through the stream, rubbing the dirt and grime off from it before twisting it back into the metal piece anchored in her residual limb. Scylla had never seen anything like it. It was slender, with the gleaming black metallic lines running along the arm and below and joined her fingertips. Though it did not move quite like Hekla's flesh arm, it mimicked and remarkably in shape. Does the water not damage it? Asked Scylla, nodding to the arm. Rust-free, said Hekla with pride. She stretched her prosthesis out and tapped the button on the inner wrist. Silver claws extended from the knuckles with a soft click. Tap another, and they had retracted. That's amazing, Scylla murmured. She lowered herself into her knees in the stream's edge and scrubbed her hair out into the water, righting herself, and she pulled her comb from her bag and began working through her tangled hair. Hekla had dressed and was washing her garments in the stream, not wanting to wear the grimy clothes she just stepped out of. Scylla fished out her other dress, the one from Jarl Gunnar's steeding. Having had the opportunity to wash in Reckford, it felt nice to wear something clean. Joining Hekla by the stream, Scylla washed her soiled garments in the frigid waters. Afterward, the two women stood. Hekla's white ember eyes caught on Scylla's bruised neck. The corners of her lips tugged down. Are you running from someone, Dula? Hekla asked quietly. A man? Your husband? Scylla dipped her lip, considering her words, but Hekla seemed to take her silence as confirmation. Did he do that to you? She demanded, pointing to Scylla's neck. Scylla nodded. Over the years, she's learned that what people saw was what they wanted to, and going along with their assumptions was far simpler than crafting her own lies. Still, something about this sat wrong in her stomach. Well, curse that evil Kunta. That's a Viking word for cunt, TikTok. It's okay. Catrin, hissed Hekla. I hope you stuck the vermin right back. You've done the right thing leaving the Falsa man like that. Hekla lifted her prosthetic arm in the air. Compliments of any shite of my husband. Former husband, she corrected, a look of glee flashing in her eyes. Bile rose from Scylla's throat. He did that to you? Yes. He was a wretched man with many shortcomings. And he took his frustrations out on me. This was long before my days as a warrior. I was young. I believed he would change, though I could help him. But it was all lies. Lies. He never did change. When at least I found the courage to leave, he found me, got his axe. I tried to fight back, tried to block him, but Scylla's mouth fell open. Oh, don't worry, Dula. Thank you, cracked Helka. Its slightly unhinged sound. My debt to him are repaid in full. Is he dead? Oh, yes, very much so. Scylla dressed in silence. I'm glad. I really don't no loss. Absorbing the new information, Hekla's voice cut low through her thoughts. Well, I admit I'd prefer to use both of my arms, not to have to learn how to do everything with my left. Not that I've gone through the prosthesis. Not that I've gone through prosthesis. Why can't I say this word now? Prosthesis. Prosthetic. Prosthetic after anyway, prothesis after prothesis. Why can't I talk today? Anyway, before discovering one that worked for me. I can see now that in some ways the entire thing was a blessing in disguise. What? Oh yes, after it happened, it struck me. Well, we all must die someday. I squandered too many years on that man. That dishonorable rat. I decided I would do what I wanted, to learn how to fight and travel, to see this kingdom. I wanted to live free, to live big while my heart still beats. Helka paused. Are you also free, Dula? No, goodbye. Whoever's leaving. Yes, Scylla murdered. Her stomach twisted. It felt wrong. This lie. She wished she'd packed another. Helka seemed a wonderful person, a possible ally, but now she feared she'd ruined it all. They made their way back to the fire, hanging with the wet garments on the string lying behind the wagon of the juniper branch, settling down before the flames. The windbreak was welcome relief in the brisk air. Scylla hauled her hair over her shoulders so the warmth of the fire could help it dry. Clean clothes, freshly bathed, stomach filled, and not on the run. Her blisters and bruises were healing. Hardened warriors surrounded her, and for the first time in days, Scylla felt content. But with a few easy words, Ray shattered any peace she managed to cultivate. Catherine, did you hear the bodies discovered the roads near the Skadrid a few days past? Scylla's gaze flew to Ray, and she swallowed at what she saw. His eyes looked of apathy, but something lurked below, something dangerous. Bodies? Asked Gunners. How many? 7, Sigrun gestured, Elias jumping in to interrupt. You're from Skadrid, aren't you not, Catherine? An uncomfortable silence stretched out around the fire. I did not hear of it, she lied. Praying her words struck true. That's troubling news. Ray was unperturbed. 6 bodies clad in black mail, though to be swords for hire, and one in the gray of Jarl Gunnar. A farm worker, I'm told. Strange. He mused. His words were sharp, his aim impeccable. Your dress is that of the mountain, the envy embroidered on it, the signet of Jarl Gunnar. Her breath slowed. Scylla looked down at the blue dress she donned, at the white flower embellished on the belt. How did he know? Thank you for the gifts. Her lips parted a millimeter, and she slammed them shut. Ray's gaze was unflinching. Will you tell us what 6 hired warriors want with a farm worker? Catherine? Have you any guesses? She shook her head slowly. Liar, Ray said. A violent storm churned behind his eyes. Scylla swallowed. Her eyes and the blood axe drew upon her. Catherine, said Ray, if you wish to walk out of this glade on your own 2 feet, you best start talking, and you can start with your true name. Thank you for the little froggies. Those are so cool. A slice of cake and a lucky lens. We hit a goal? Well, heck yeah, we hit a goal. Let's go. Woo woo. I don't know what that means, but we're hitting goals and we're hitting goals. That's awesome. Cool. I don't know what that means, but woo! I guess we pin that again. I don't know. I don't know what we're doing here. Okay. Belly.
You can add a bubble on your mouth.
I had a bubble on my mouth. I don't know. Bell. How many? If they accept her. I know, right? How many buttons do we got? Or do we want to wait? The little dinosaurs, they say lucky lensies, what they call them. Those are pretty cool. Lucky guy. Oh, y'all are sending, Jesus, just sending lightning bolts like a mofo. Damn, y'all are hitting goals like a mug. I don't know. They're hitting them though. I don't know what that does. Those are so cool. You're 75 of 100. Good job, everybody. I don't know what we're doing. Wow. So let's do. What do we got? Here. Give me 1, 2, 3. Give me 4. You got 4. Oh, y'all just decided. Okay, y'all hit the goal. I don't know what it means, but y'all hit it. Thank you, everybody. We. I don't know what it means. 1, 4, 6, 8, 3.
Wow.
Rune Dannon, Crown Prince of the Balbaran Fae.
Make you need to watch you break. now you're begging me for more. Yeah.
Thank you for the follows. I appreciate that. Can you see 8 again? You forgot?
I'm telling you, listen up, mama.
Two more chapters tonight, folks. Yeah, she is. Trust me. You'll never believe her favorite character is so far. Caw-caw! Oh, but hey, hey, Liz, how you feel about Adian at this current moment in time?
I have no words. I fear we would be restricted if I shared how I felt. Not right now. We don't. We did yesterday. We did the day before. Right now, it's hard to come from a place of love. Right now.
That's funny as fuck. That's all I know. That's funny as fuck. Woo. Okay. Woo. Sorry, I had to get that one in there.
The sad thing is, I love Adian too.
She does. She loves Adian. She's like, why are you so
I
mean?
understand why everybody's being so mean to him, bitch.
Now she gets it.
Sit down.
Now she gets it. All right. Let's get into this one. We still not heard from DW. Has anybody heard? I'm actually getting kind of worried now. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, tummy. Yeah, I have a tummy tattoo and a back tattoo and a chest tattoo and the arm tattoos and the leg tattoos, and we got lots of tattoos. We'll have to do a tattoo tour one day. But all right, let's get in. We still don't know where she is yet. All right, we'll spam her. We'll spam her later. We'll spam her and see what's up. All right, chapter 14. They suck, yeah. It's not necessarily the pain because a tattoo hurts, period. It's the fact that you got to try to hold your breath so you're not breathing up and down, or hope your artist can go with you breathing. So it's a lot of holding your breath and not being tight. You know what I mean? So it's fun.
I was going to say, ask him about his ribcage one.
Which one?
The side.
Which one? Which one? Which one? They're both rib cages are done. They're both done.
I'm saying.
They're both done. Rib cages suck the most as far as I've had. Anyway, digressing. All right. 14. More lore later. Scylla searched the sky for the mother star to ask for guidance. If that's your definition of fun, we don't have the same meaning of fun. I'll do other things on my rib cage, but not anyway. Digressing. All right. Ain't even lucky stag constellation. Why is it always the stag constellation to ask for good fortune? But cursed the late summer sunset. It was not yet dark, and there was no escaping this situation. Caught breaking the Blood Axe crew's rules, and it hadn't even been a full day. Clearly, the walking mountain was more clever than Scylla realized. Her eyes met Hekla's, and she forced her gaze away. If she was just to dig herself out of this hole, she'd need to create a new set of lies at the cost of the woman's trust. Though she hated it, Scylla saw no other option. She could not tell these warriors the truth. They worked for the king and would hand her over. Certainly, thank you for the gifts, MJ. She took a deep breath. My name is Scylla Nordvig. I thought it best I didn't thought it best I not use my true name. I was frightened. Thank you for the roses. Staring into the flames, Scylla prepared to spin a tale. The farm worker on the road neared Skadra. That was my father, Matthias. Over the years, she'd found it best to weave some truth in with the lies. Though as she considered it, Matthias was not even his true name. Pushing the thought aside, Scylla soldiered forward. There was a dispute of inherency of my father's cousins, a troublesome, cruel man who was disowned by his own kin. When his father died and the lands passed on to us, the man became enraged, driving my father and I from it. This was our land we rightfully owned, but we were forced to take work on the Jarl's steading so we would not starve. But my father had the documents, had good men to vouch for him at the Midsummer Assembly. It was only a few weeks from now when my father would argue our case, but these lands would surely be restored to us. We were on our way home, our temporary rented quarters just out of Skarstad. The men, they had come to the woods and attacked 6 against the 2 of us, an old man and a woman who cannot even draw her dagger. Cowardly men they were. They killed my father. She buried her face in her hand. One man grabbed me by the neck and carried me to the woods and held me so that I could not breathe. I tried to fight, but Scylla made the mistake of glancing at Hecla and saw the betrayal pain of her face. Wincing, she forced herself to continue. If my father had not thrown his dagger into the man's back, I would be dead alongside him. I was knocked out, but the time I awoke, it was too late. They were all Schmed, all of them, and I ran. And now she waited and prayed to the gods that her story rang true. The queen will not kill you. Not right away, that is. The memory made her shudder. She could never reveal the truth to these people, these warriors whose allegiance was to the king. You're telling me a farmer fought and killed 6 trained warriors? Ray's weary voice cut through her hopes. This man, she needed to be careful. And Ray had stumbled across her other puzzling detail. Where had Mathis, Thomas, learned to fight like that? It was as if he had done it his whole life. He was a warrior in his day, she said quietly, the only answer which could possibly make sense. To whom was his oath sworn? Asked Ray. Anger stirred in his veins. He was relentless with his questions, unending, and she feared each lie and told to dug her grave just a little deeper. Jarl Broxen, she muttered, thinking of the steeding she had worked a few years prior. Mossville, Ray asked, his gaze burning to hers. She knew it must hold no matter what. She must not flinch or show any sign of deception. Her life depended on it. Excuse me. Yes, and once he acquired Midfjord, he preferred to keep his summers there. She watched him absorb the information, shifting in search of the holes. There would be none, if she recalled correctly, and for the first time Scylla was grateful to have worked so many steedings, to have such information at the ready. Silence in the wake of her words was so loud it hurt her ears. Jonas and Elias exchanged a wait and looked across the fire. Someone needed to say something, anything. The truth scratched at her throat like it was trying to get free. Ray stood, and a muscle in his jaw flexing to drew his hivrich from the sheath at his hips. He stepped towards her, Scylla's pulsing leaping. Why should I let you live? You broke my rules. I cannot trust you. We cannot have someone we don't trust riding with the crew. The air shifted in the sharpness of his words. Scylla leapt to her feet, packing away. The firelight danced in his eyes along the bronze cheekbone of her wolf's skin cloak wrapped around her shoulder. Please, she begged, please. I told you my name before I knew your rules. Her back bumped into the spear rigged at the windprank. Ray pressed forward, the long blade of the hivrich glinting malevolently. Why should I give you another chance? You've proven yourself a liar. Because it takes a small man to be ruled by fear and a large one to show mercy. Anyone can see you are no small man. Ray's thick brows gathered together and something passing behind him. What did you say? Her heart pounded so loudly she scarcely heard him. I said, where did you hear that? He demanded. Where did you learn those words? Scylla's hands were clenched so tight that her nails dug into the palms. My father. Ray's gaze seemed to settle on her left eye, on her scar. The head dropped limply to his sides, though relief flickered faintly within her. Scylla didn't dare move for risk of breaking the spell. When Ray spoke, it was a low rasp. There is a price on your head. She took a calming breath. No, they won't come after you. They have what they want, our land, and no one to contest it. So no one will show up here looking for you. Scylla shook her head slowly, the lies twisting in her stomach. Why Copa? Why not Reckford? My mother's brother lives in Copa. I will be safe there. Reckford is too near Skarsgård. Skarstad, I fear. I can never say that fucking name right. Skarstad, I fear. I'd always be looking over my shoulder. Her eyes stung. She was exhausted. This conversation drawing the last of her energy reserves. Tell me the rules, snapped Ray. Do as I'm told, she managed in a quiet voice. No lies. Are you lying to me? His cold, dark gaze studied her every breath, her every blink. She shook off the shiver threatening to roll down her spine. No. If you lie to me again, woman, you will find an axe in your skull. TikTok, entertainment purposes only. We're reading a story. There will be another goal. Good job, everybody. Good job. Appreciate that. Her body sagged. It wasn't going to schmill her tonight. I won't lie to you, Silas. I won't lie to you. Silas lied. Scarred gods, scarred ashes. She was lying about lying. How had she gotten to this place? She stared at Ray and wasn't entirely sure where the boldness of her follow words comes. I will get to Copa. Ray scuffed. Will you fly there on optimism, delusion, and naivety? Are you sure a way to get killed on this road? Silent, she held his gaze, with the shackle of his head, Ray pushing past her, then stalked into the darkening woods. Scylla stared as his silhouette merged with the shadows as they were on the same. He'd have killed me, she thought. He truly would have killed me. Entertainment purposes, TikTok. She'd seen them in Ray's eyes, the murderous intent. What had changed him? What had stopped him? What had changed his mind? Those words spoken by her father, repeated in her desperation. Never minded at all. The man is dangerous, Scylla thought, and she made herself a promise. The next time she feared for her life, she would not hesitate to leave. DW's here, finally, DW! All right, let's go. Hekla's soft voice shook from her gaze. There was no husband. Burning stars, Ray crushing had been so intense she'd forgotten the rest of the Blood Axe crew entirely. She'd forgotten Helka and how Scylla's new story would wound the brave woman who'd been nothing but kind to her. Her chest tightened. No, Scylla said, sitting back in her crate near the fire. Her eyes pleaded with Helka. I should not have gone along with your assumption. It was dishonorable of me. She said, standing. Such a thing should not be used for stories and schemes. Scylla flinched and Helka turned, following Ray's retreat to the woods. Scylla was numb as she sat before the fire, a potential friend, her greatest ally thus far, offended beyond measure, and walking bolder, chasing her like a wolfhound with the scent of a wounded animal. But you are breathing, she thought to herself. She was still breathing, and she would do what she must to keep that way. Silence stretched around the fire for several long minutes. You've got a bigger bollocks than a troll, girl. Chuckled Gunnar. Scylla wrinked her nose. What? Sigrun made a hand signal from across the fire. Sigrun says you stared down axe eyes like none I've ever seen, Jonas said in a lazy voice. Reclined across the fire, his daggers moved over a piece of wood with such dexterity that he didn't even need to look at it. Her gaze dropped into his hands, so firm and in control the way they worked the dagger along the piece of wood. Though he burst into flames, chirped lies thankfully diverted her attention. Scylla groaned. He despised me. Elias sank beside her, uncapped a flask. Ray, don't let him frighten you. He's mostly blustered. He's mostly bluster. He frowned. Though I did once see him schmill a man with a spoon. Why a spoon? 'Cause it'll hurt more, you twit. Sorry, anytime we see that it's a family saying Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, got to deal with it. Sorry. Family tradition. Gunnar chuckled. I forgot about that. Scylla swallowed. A spoon? Why a spoon? 'Cause it'll hurt more, you twit. Elias did not elaborate. It is best to be truthful with axe eyes. You see how he digs for the truth to get from a person. faster than it takes to get Fire Fist's mother naked and into fur. Damn! Gunnar replied was as sharp as he looked through Elias. You looking for some broken teeth, no beard? Don't dwell on it, said Elias, ignoring Gunnar. Ray and Hecla, their angle were fade. I would know, being their usual target of fury. She is braver than she looks, said Jonas, watching her, and less than a mouse than she seems. He slid his blade deeper into the woods, bits curling in a wake. But you don't belong here, Curls. The arch panging in Scylla's chest at his words. It was nothing new, not belonging, but it hurt all the same. Drink some Brent's, said Elias, passing her the flask. Scylla sniffed and scrunched her nose. It burns only for a heartbeat or two, he said with a crooked grin. She brought it to her lips, wincing as the harsh flavors of fire whiskey filled her mouth. It took all her effort not to spit it out. Oh, she's a spitter. Scylla coughed as he left a blazing trail across her tongue and down her throat. Oh, she got it down. Good job. It's rough. It can be rough sometimes. As she managed wiping her lips from the back of her hand, ashes, Elias repeated with a chuckle, taking back the flask. You never tasted Brentsa, have you, Scylla? Nope, she admitted, looking back to the flames. Why not? My father and I kept to ourselves. We did not partake in feasts, nor spend time in mead halls. She felt the touch of Jonah's judgment gaze on her skin. Spitters or quitters. Fair enough. Scowl, Sigrun turned the flask from Elias, tucking it under her arms while she signaled with her hands. Sigrun says fire whiskey is the way of life on the road, said Gunnar, and Sigrun drank from the flask. 'Tis true, keeps you warm and helps pass the time. Plus adds a little fire to help keeps you to sleep like a log. Elias groaned, Sigrun shaking her head slowly. Gunnar, do not inflict the girl with your horrid jokes, complained Elias. Scylla smiled and could already feel the Brentsa uncurling something in her stomach, warming her, showing her pulse and loosening her up. Also, continued Elias, if you're to travel with the Blood Axe crew, we'll need to work on your cursing. What? You'll need to curse, Elias Handhammer. Scylla Handhammer. Ha! They gave her... She's the hand... That's an innuendo if I've ever heard one. The Handhammer. I like it. It is a basic requirement to ride with the crew. A laugh burst from her. Handhammer. We all saw the hammer you carry. A bold choice of weapon. A woodcrafter's hammer is. Only the bravest of warriors would choose such a thing. Only one deserving of the name Handhammer. She snorted loudly, then clasped a hand over her mouth. I am rather fierce, aren't I? She managed, though I do not curse. You must, said Elias. It's good for the health. Releases the tension in your body. Otherwise, the bad feelings gather with no place to escape. Oh, that's why I'm never upset very much anymore. I curse a lot. Okay. A smile played at her lips very well. The flask passed back to Scylla, and she took another drink and managed not to cough this time, though the face she made was most unladylike. Oh, barnacles, she hissed. No, 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 Handhammer. Curse. Really curse. Elias puffed up his chest. Maula's flaming tits. That's flaming tits. Cursing ass badgers. Sheep-redden son of a shit beetle. I like that one. Have you tried fucking cunt nugget? Cock goblin? Twat waffle? Douche canoe. Those are some of my other favorites. Jonas chuckled and laughed out, Sugrum snickering softly beside him. Scylla frowned at Elias, shaking your head. If one is a son of a beetle, how could they possibly do that to a sheep? The high difference is it makes no sense, Elias. She has a point, No Beard. And chuckled Gunnar. Elias waved a hand in the air. The details do not matter, only the meaning, which is that they eat shit. I cannot say that, interjected Silas before he could finish. Why not? She merely shook her head, warmth swam in her stomach, and happiness unfolded between her ears. Her embezzled gaze drifted once more to Jonas, wandering up his legs and meandering along his broad, weird chest. When she reached his face, she realized his blue eyes were already on hers. Her lips curved at the corners, cut. She thought, shame. Shame stinging her cheeks. Scylla looked back to the line. Fuck, she whispered. I said it too loud. Fuck, she whispered. The last thing she wanted was this man to think she admired him in that way. Louder, Hammerhand, encouraged Elias. Let the gods hear you. Fuck! She said a little louder. Her lips curved a little small smile as she looked like a pride on Elias's face. She liked some of these people at least. The ease they had on one or the other and the camaraderie made her think it would not be bad to travel with them so long as she could keep her distance from Axe-Eyes and the wolf. I wager we shall have cursing louder than Fire Fist's mother does in furs, said Elias. Gunnar growled, then launched himself at Elias. Scylla barely managed to leap out of the way in time as the warriors crashed to the ground. Won't you stop them, she asked, gathering her skirt and retreating around the fire. Jonas chuckled softly while Sigrun merely shrugged. Already, Scylla could tell how Gunnar earned the name Fire Fist. His hands were a blur as they pummeled Elias. Scylla's brows dripped down. This is normal? There was a lone empty crate next to Jonas swelling. Scylla lowered herself onto it. Glancing at Jonas, Scylla's lips parted. He had a small figurine in his hands, the point of his dagger deepening the grooves of a curling beard and angling armor of a warrior. Do you like what you see, Scylla? He muttered, and she snapped her lips shut. Her true name on his lips sounded odd and pleasing. The figurine is quite lovely, she managed, then urged herself to offer him some kindness. You're quite good at that. You're quite good at slithering your way into this crew, he muttered. Damn. Scylla drew a breath through her nose. A snake, am I now? She asked. Here, though I thought I was a mouse. Trouble is what you are, he said, jarringly blue eyes lifting to hers. I am not fooled. Her stomach burned, skin prickling, and there had become clear that the traveling with this group would be exquisite test of her patience and willpower. Do not get comfortable, said Jonas, turning back to his carvings. A coarse laugh fell from her lips. Oh, but being bound to a tree and having my life threatened is such a comfort. Some women enjoy the ropes. Yeah, they do. Scylla's mouth fell open. Had thought just he truly die. He had just... Scylla's mouth fell open. Had he just... Did he truly just... She fought the itch to grab the man's dagger and drive it through his hand. Jonas turned, a gaze raking over her. I do not think of it. I did not think it of you, but you've been wrong in my assumption in the past. Scylla flew to her feet. Her hands had curled to the fist, and she shook them loose. I think I shall retreat to bed for the night. Scylla moved awkwardly away from the fire. Jonas slow chuckled, chasing into the darkness. Grabbing a fur from the wagon, she picked a spot on the grass to spread out for the night, curling into a ball. Scylla drew up her cloak and then the fur. Then blankly stared ahead. Would Ray return and drag her from her bed to bind her to a tree? The little blonde girl settled on her stomach in the grass before her, resting a cheek on her fist. You must win them over, Scylla. Scylla released a long breath. They made it more difficult than I imagined. She narrowly avoided Ray's axe tonight, but what would tomorrow bring? The very thought of exhausted her. The girl tucked a messy lock of hair behind her ear. You can do it. You're a survivor. Survivor. The word brought the tears to her eyes. Scylla pulled her father's tunic from the bag, pressing it to her nose. His lingering scent brought her comfort in the last bit of him traveling with her. Stay vigilant, the little girl continued. Win them over, but do not get closer. Yeah, that ain't gonna happen. She nodded. She must win them over with revealing the truth. If the Blood Axe crew discovered that the queen hunted Scylla, she'd surely be handed over to the crown. But no matter what, Scylla could never let her guard down. Wow. Okay. She's dug herself in a little hole here. We're in a little predicament. 81. All right, so that's what, 4 buttons? Is that 4? We get the 4, Bell? Is that where we're at? What are we at, Bell? Oh, lordy, lordy. 2 for DW. Well, I think the crew loves it. It's getting minutes. No, it was the insurance company, not her. Oh, she says I want the shame.
Shame. Shame.
Bring on the shame, she said.
Shame.
But because we love you and it wasn't your fault, number 4. Second one. And number 3. Number 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And of course, everybody's favorite.
Rune Dannon, Crown Prince of the Valbaran Fae.
All right, folks, we got one chapter left. It says it's going to take me about 23 minutes. I'm going to challenge you to see if y'all can get to, it's going to be a rough one, 105. You're at 82. I think y'all can do it. It shouldn't be too bad. It's just a little bit over 1,000 per. I think y'all can do it. If we can do that, we'll do a full tour before we leave. Oh shit, they're going, and they're off to the races. Let's get one more on the way out of here. Because we can, and she has been able to be here most of the night. This one is going out to our friend in Australia, Nika! Let's get this last chapter in for the night, folks. Here we go. Chapter 15, Road of Bones, a wise telling. Let's get into it. Here we go. There is only one situation, said Jonas. He pulled the herbal sludge from the bowl, breathing through the mouth, and smeared it along his mother's swollen jaw. Whoa, are we going back in time? What is happening? Okay. Her glassy eyes stared at the rafters of the long house, and he wondered if she was capable of speech in her state. Okay, Allie Grace, have a good night, love. We will see you next time. Thanks for coming out. We'll see you down in the Discord, love. All right, capable of speeches in her state. Fingers dripping into the pungent mixture of the herbs, he drew out more and smoothed it just below her eye. He'd done a number on her this time, worse than Jonas had seen in months. You must divorce him, said Jonas in a low voice, his eyes flickering across the room. His father, still passed out, slumped over the table. He had to lop his head off. Let's just make it easy. Even from where he sat, Jonas could smell the reek of urine. Like literally lop his head off. Her mother opened her mouth and closed his eyes. Jonas narrowed. She was choosing not to speak. If we have neighbors vouch for the nature of your injuries, the assembly will easily grant you a divorce. Hope inflated in his chest in the thought, and a fresh start. The three of them, no more violence, freed from the shackles of his father's temper, from the tiptoeing around them, unsure of the small detail would incense him this time. It could be laughing at something his father hadn't meant to be funny. It could be his mother had passed his father a bowl of stew with the fewest pieces of mutton. It could be that it was raining or that he had lost another 10 solace gambling at the meat hall. All right, so Dad's a chode. And he's our first chode of the day. Actually, our second, because Hecla's dude, that dude's a chode too. So we got 2 chodes thus far. All right. At age 10, Jonas developed an ear for the pitch of his father's voice. He knew precisely when to make himself small, when to slink into the shadows of Elias and vanish into the elm tree. He'd learned to endure the sound of his mother being hurt. But this plan, it had to work. The neighbor had found Jonas and Elias in the elm tree, had taken one look at the longhouse, and told the boys the words which had filled them within such hope. Divorce. No, not Hecla. Hecla's husband that cut off her arm. That one. Not Hecla. I like Hecla. She's cool. Pay attention, P. I'm paying attention, I promise. Jonas had clung to his words for weeks and had quietly collected information. He'd learned that if a woman had visible injuries on her body and an honorable people to vouch for her at the assembly, the law speaker would readily grant her a divorce. Yeah, I got you. Runes there. Tracking now. Got it. His mother cracked lips parted. The words were barely a whisper. No. The hope in his chest fizzled out of the way. Gah! Leaving his limbs heavy, but her eyes met his. All the brightness which had shone, long having bled out of them, she licked her lips and spoke in a rusty voice. He is my husband. I cannot. Oh, woman, 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 woman. Jonas heard the words she did not give voice to. I love him. I love him and will not leave. That's rough. That's rough. That's rough. I love him and will doom you and your brother to his mercy. Oh, God. Okay, Mom, I'm having an issue with no. Now you're mid. Oh, my Lord. I will. This was love. It made a person selfish and enthralled them, made them walk to their own doom. He looked at his mother, his chest burning with hatred. Love was nothing but a weapon to be used against you. It was safer to be alone. Jonas's heart hardened, and he made silent to vow to himself, this will never be you. Damn, that sucks. Jonas startled awake, nausea curling in his stomach. After several shallow breaths, he sat up. Dreams, he told himself. It was not to be a dream. Jonas closed his eyes, pictured the sturdy trunk of the elm tree and the vibrant spray of the branches. He saw rolling fields of the golden wheat, the skies painted with the brushstrokes of the gods, pink, yellows, blues, as the sun sank below the horizon. His pulse calmed and his chest loosened. The dreams were a blessing and a curse, and the echo of his past a reminder of his future. Unfamiliar laughter met his ears, and his stomach clenched anew. He'd forgotten for a brief moment that there was another with them, and for the time being sitting, he rubbed the sleep from his eyes. A gloomy day, the clouds hung in the low sky, and a raven calling out from the pine woods surrounding them. The grass around him was dampened with dew, and Jonas knew it would be long before it was frost clung to the blades, and the crew pulled the tents from the wagon. To his right, Gunnar lay on the stomach, his black locks peeking from beneath the mounds of fur. The rest of the bedding had been packed away for the day. Jonas searching for his brothers, always last to rise, before recalling it had been Elias's night, the watch for duty. The scent of cooked food wafted their noses, and suddenly Jonas was wide awake. He rolled his bed, splashing cold water from the stream on his face, and pulled on his Lebrina armor for the day. Soothing the scales flat across his chest and shoulders, he cast a glance toward the fire. Scylla's back shot in silent laughter, while Elias spoke with animation. Eyes bright despite a night spent on watch duty, Jonas felt a swell of affection for his younger brother and a touch of jealousy at his ability to put people at ease. Sure, women flocked to Jonas, but it was all surface level. Which was it you want? He reminisced himself. Elias, on the other hand, was a master of befriending others and charming the stories from them, even though he hadn't lost that spark. And Jonas hoped he never did. The clash of metal caught his attention. Ray and Hecla practiced swordcraft at the edge of the glade. He watched Hecla duck low to avoid the arc of Ray's longsword. Her unusual left-handed swing, a powerful reply. She stumbled, throwing her prosthetic hand down to stabilize her, cursing as the fingers curved up unexpectedly. She fell to the ground. Ray did not relent, and Hecla rolled to escape his advancing blows. Jonas yawned and sauntered to the fire. "Morning," he said, his voice with thick as sleep. "Morning," Jonas. Scylla pressed the steaming cup of spice roa into his hands. He stared at it for a long second. She eagerly taken over the cooking last night and was up bright and early this morning. 2 meals done does not cancel out her trickery, he thought bitterly. Her eyes met his, her smiles just as forced as his own. "Do you like your roa sweetened with honey?" she asked. "Please," he gritted out. "Frozen? Oh no, we frozen? Have we frozen? Are we under the freezing? Are we under the freezing? Are we still going? I see hearts moving. I see some hearts moving, but that's all I see. Am I frozen? Do I look frozen? No? Okay, cool. All right. Her cheeks plummeted up and revealed, "As do I," he turning to his brother. "You see, Elias, you must try it." Scylla stirred a spoon of honey into his cup. A scent caught Jonas's attention. It was like porridge, but nutty. "What is that smell?" He wandered to the fire, looking at the pot. It appeared as porridge should not be this monstrosity which Sigrun served up each morning, and it smelled amazing. Gotcha. Oh, it says MJ's got it frozen. Oh no, maybe you have to jump out and jump in, MJ. I'm not sure. She toasted the porridge, Elias said from behind him. Toasted it. Jonas forced a stony expression to his face, then turned to the curly-haired woman. A red flush crept her neck, and she handed him a bowl. "It's a basic thing, really. You're too easily impressed, Elias." Settling before the fire, Jonas forced his attention to the day meal. His eyes widened with the first mouthful. He hadn't known porridge could taste like this. It must be, and Elias put it, the toasting. He considered for a moment what it might be like to eat this every day on the road. It would make it more bearable, but it would mean pandering to this woman when the Blood Axe crew had more pressing things to worry about with. Ray approached, a sour look on his face, and Scylla handed him a steaming cup of rua. "Well met, Ray," she said brightly. "Have you finished your training? Do you practice each morning?" Ray scoured. "Do you always speak so much?" "Yes," the irritating woman chirped. She was remarkably unafraid of Axe Eyes and far less quiet than Jonas had initially assumed, and his gaze traveled the length of the frumpy dress buttoned right up her neck. He wondered what other secret she might be hiding. "Hey, Brooks, reckled bollocks," he thought, scowling. His dream had muddled his mind. Scylla pressed a bowl of Ray's hand, and it was hard not to notice that it was a heaping full of porridge, far larger than any of the other portions. She had already noticed that Ray never stopped eating. The man was permanently hungry. Ray's scowl deepened. Is it just unnatural to be so joyful at this time of day? A laugh bubbled from the back of her throat, but it seemed to realize Ray was serious and made strange choking sound as she bruised herself stirring the porridge. Jonas spent the rest of the day meal forcing his thoughts to the solace burned in his caches, to the job industry, to his lands. He and Elias had toiled for 5 long years to earn it back. He'd slept on the cold, hard ground, had spilled blood and paid with their own. When they regained their lands, it would be because they earned it. Hell yeah, I'm glad it worked, MJ. That's good shits. Not because someone had taken pity on them. They set up camp that night, clearing in the mists of the piney woods and the toothy green needles farming the cloud-covered sky. Sigrun had shot 2 more rabbits that day, and Silas had cooked them over a split and served them with the last of the bread. It wasn't her best work, she knew it, but the ingredients she had were so limiting. The Blood Axe crew had cleaned their plates, though, and they had no complaints amongst them with mushrooms. There's only one kind of mushrooms I like, and it's usually not cooked with food or additional herbs, so it could make something that tasted 1,000 times better. So good, the crew would want to keep her with them all the way north. After washing up, Scylla glanced at the crew. The fire was low and the glowing orange. Elias, Sigrun, and Jonas were huddled together deep in the throes of a game of dice. No sign of Ray, Helka, or Gunnar. All evening she managed to keep thoughts of her father from drifting to her mind, but now that things were settled for the night, they crept through the bars of her mental cage, filling her with hurt and sorrow. I love you like my own kin. Then why didn't you trust me? She wanted to scream. Why didn't you tell me the truth? Scylla's fingers skimmed the vial of the hanging from her neck, the thoughts shifting in an instant. Leaves to forget him, leaves to feel better. She squeezed her eyes shut, trying to quit the voice within her. Scylla had already taken her allocated scolds for the night. Yet still her body bristled for more. Always one more. Always. Who does it hurt? Well, it hurts your supply. I'm just saying, it's the last one you got. You might want to slow the fuck down. Unless you got a guy you can call. Anyways, you deserve some happiness. She'd pulled them from the vial and laid them all out and counted them once, twice, 3 times. 10. All right, listen. If we're down to having to count how many runes we got left, you better start like cutting these bitches in half right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing? 10 leaves, 10 nights, 10 remedies left before she would be powerless as the tide of pain engulfed her. Scylla has unfolded her map and traced her fingers over the dotted mark Savata. If they continued on this pace, they'd reach it before her vial ran empty. She reasserted herself over and over, yet still angst burned in her stomach. Right? Never get high on your own supply. Take one. I must move my feet, Scylla gritted out, unable to sit with her thoughts and worry any longer. She looked towards the woods. They were silent. Still. And when the Blood Axe crew hadn't been watching, she'd slipped some bread crust into her pocket to leave for the spirits. If she found some edible plants, she could add them to her offering and perhaps make up for her absence in the night. Picking up an empty storage box from the crate of food provisions, her mind was made up. She'd kept close and she'd be quick. And with that, Scylla slipped into the shadows of the forest. The woods held a sweet, earthly scent, silent save the crunch of pine needles beneath Scylla's feet as she meandered between the stems. After a few minutes, a familiar curl of wind surreal leaf set against the bleached stem of the birch caught her attention. Bending low to examine it, she straightened abruptly at the brittle crack of a twig. She turned slowly, letting out a shaky exhale as she recognized the form leaning against the tree. Jonas. The last night of the day caught on the bronze bucklings holding his armor jacket together on the golden swath of the pulled hair, taunt secured at his crown, threw out nothing and said. He watched her with blue eyes so deep and intense it felt as though he was pulling her into him. Scylla opened her mouth and then closed it. Hello, Jonas, she said finally. We must stop meeting like this. His perplexed looked, and her perplexed look had her pressing her lips tightly together. His gaze hardened into a scowl. You should not be alone out here. There are wolves in these woods. The pull of his eyes intensified and her skin prickled. Then I am grateful for your company, warrior. His brows dipped lower. No. I came to bring you back to camp. I have better things to do than coddle an imprudent girl who wants to pick flowers in the forest filled with monsters. Scylla's hands flexed as soon as she hid his gaze. I'm not a girl. I've seen 20 winters. How old is he? Scylla examines his face. Mid-20s perhaps, and I appreciate your concern, but I do not need coddling. A smirk curved Jonas's lips as he folded his arms across his chest. There are things in these woods that would give you nightmares. I am surely they're no match for what I've already dreamed of. The words came out before she could stop herself. Scylla's gaze fell into the ground as she consumed with memories of her nightmare. She hated that she'd seen that in her moment of vulnerability. With a sigh, she shook her head. Why did you follow me? I thought it would appeal you for some forest creature to finish me off. Jonah's gaze slid to the trees beside her, his lips thinning. You do not wish for that? No. Surprise washed through her, though Scylla found herself abruptly without words. Do not take it to mean anything. Curls. It is my foolish conscience and nothing more. Her brows snapped together and her mind whirling. The overbearing, money-hungry warrior worried for her safety. Had a conscience? Has your conscience seen mushrooms in these woods? Jonas cast a look in the skies. No, my conscience insists that you go back to camp for safety. 5 minutes. She turned back to the sorrel, bending to pick a handful. Jonas scuffed. I cannot decide if you're brave or just a fool. Definitely brave, she quipped. Tucking the leaves in the storage box straightened, she stepped between the trees, studying the ground for mushroom caps. I could throw you over my shoulder, growled Jonas, trudging up after her. And what would you do then? Much of her chagrin, she stomached her much to her chagrin, her stomach heated at the thought. Scylla decided ignoring him was the best course of action. A twig snapped violently between her. Do not test my patience, curls. Leave me be, Jonas. I cannot, he growled. Why not? She demanded, whirling on him. Why do you care? What sort of strange moral code did this man have? Her gaze slid along the scar of his cheekbone. I cannot sit here, she muttered, looking away. I cannot sit with my thoughts. I need to do something. Need to move. Jonas raked a hand along his hair, tugging at the knot of his crown. With a heavy breath, he said, 5 minutes. A smile curved the corners of Scylla's lips, and she tried not to bounce on her feet. Your stomach will thank you at the evening meal tomorrow, Jonas, when I have mushrooms and herbs for the stew, and when the forest sprites do not set fog upon us and the holes and the glades and the horses and the trip. And she did not add. The grumbling sometimes she couldn't quite bear to hear. They walked in silence, Silva searching them in a dim light for any trace of herbs or mushrooms. But the longer they went on without a sign of edible plants, the more her stomach sank. She'd have to make do with the scant cereals she collected. It was better than nothing. Do you truly use your lands? Asked Jonas, dragging her through her thoughts. Scylla turned and blinked at him. There was something in his expression she could not quite place. Slowly she nodded. I'm sorry for that. Jonas opened his mouth, then closed it. Her eyes hardened. Still, it does not justify your climbing into the wagon. Trust me, had I known I was your wagon, I would have stayed from it, Scylla said tartly. Surely you understand I was desperate. I had no money, feared my cousin's men would catch me and cut my throat. Entertainment purposes, tick-tock. What would you have me do? I expect you to earn your ride, not steal it. You're quite stubborn, she said, blowing out an exasperated breath. This man mine was immovable as a troll who'd seen sunlight. 5 minutes left, folks. I am determined because I understand what work is. Jonas returned in a low favor. He prowled towards her, and Scylla forced herself to hold the ground. I have not had things handed to me in this world. Scylla's could not be surprised, the laugh which bubbled up. You think I've had things handed? He closed. Excuse me. He was closer now and so much taller than her. Scylla's words died on her tongue, her heart pummeling energy through her veins. This job is important. The biggest payout I've ever had. If you ruin it for me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Scylla's temper flared sharply, powering her limbs, dropping the storage box. She seized Jonas by the buckles of his armor and forced him back against a tree. Ooh, her heart pounded in her ears, body flooding with her. Listen, wolf, she snarled. I've just watched my father die, have survived the grim wolves and war bands of the twisted pine woods. I do not need an overgrown, money-greedy warrior push me around. Jonas's eyes settled on hers, darkening. You're not a mouse at all. You are far from a complaint. You are far from compliant. Scylla's stomach grew light and fluttery at the words, but then she had no time to consider them before Jonas' hand shot up quicker than she could track. Jonas spun her around, and Scylla found her on her back, pressed against the tree. Ruh-roh, Raggy. Y'all know damn well y'all are getting spun around on that. Y'all were like, spin me around, Jonas. Damn well knew it. 3 minutes, who's gonna win? She sucked in a breath and deep stared his aggressively blue eyes. He was so close she could smell him. Iron, leather, that scent which was all him. Jonas leaned in, his hot breath feathering along her jaw. I don't care what you think. For a moment she could not speak, but she had enough of him and wished for him to know. Oh, but you do, she whispered, staring at the man. Care what everyone thinks, don't you? because that's all you have, all the handsome face of yours. Beneath it, I am certain there's nothing worth mentioning. She might have lost her mind, lost all the sense of preservation. Scylla did not understand why she felt such satisfaction in taunting this warrior. This man could snap her neck without a second thought. So close. But he followed her into the woods. He had told her he did not wish her harm. He had flexed his jaw, each jagged breath against her skin sent a thrill rippling through her blood. More. She needed more. Jonas's eyes dripped momentarily to her lips before meeting her own in a searing gaze. You should mind your tongue around me. Or what? She licked her lips, her heart thudding in her chest. She could feel the anger, pure and raw, feeling the air between them. It should frighten her, but it only livened her, excited her. Her blue eyes speared until her. You are trouble, Scylla. But there is something you clearly need to be taught. Ooh, teacher daddy. He leaned in and her eyes fell shut, and when he spoke, his voice was low and rough. Do not play games. You cannot win. Her eyes flew open, the pressure loosened from her wrists, and Jonas drew back. Go back to camp. It is not safe in these woods for you. Her foolish body throbbed, arching for his warmth, but Jonas was already stalking off like the wolf he was. One dizzying moment she considered chasing after him, but after several deep breaths of forced air, Scylla's senses returned, retrieving the discarded storage box and pulling out some of the cereal. She assembled a small altar to the spirits at the base of the tree, adding the bread crust with shaking hands. She whispered, I have no mead, but I hope this will suffice. And with that, she made her way back to camp, her skin burning with irritation, with anger. But as the flames of the campfire came into view, and though it occurred to her, not once in the past 20 minutes had she thought of the leaves, nor her father.
Holy shit!
Wow! Let's go. Okay. Jonas got y'all going. Feral. Y'all did it. 107. Holy shit.
I forgot what 8 looks like again.
You forgot what A looks like. Red flags. I see no red flags.
I don't even like blonde guys, so.
Rowan's not blonde. He's
Yeah,
it's okay. He doesn't count. Y'all are hilarious. Oh, that's funny. All right, you earned a full tour. How do you want to go? High to low or low to high? How we finishing out the night, my friends? They are wide open, my love.
What's that?
What's what? What? Y'all are feral. Y'all are a trip. Yeah, she is the queen. She really is. All right. How do we want to go? Those don't even count. That's the bad thing. They didn't even count for y'all. So, y'all want to go low to high or high to low on the way out? Ascending, skip 3. Okay. Ascending is going up.
Rune Dannon, Crown Prince of the Balbaran Fae.
Wait, that was, and then you said I'm not gonna lie, that's one of my favorite ones. All right, and we'll end it out with everybody's favorite.
Rune Dannon, Crown Prince of the Balbaran Fae.
All righty then, folks. Y'all hit almost oh, dang it, they caught it. Dang it, dang it. Again, just because y'all are so quick. You're so quick. Never seem to miss them buttons. She says, I know what I said. Bella's like, I know what I said. I'm paying attention. She's like, I figured out your pattern after the first 6 presses. I got you. That's amazing how the likes go. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Thank you so much, Q. Thank you. Yes. All right. So I don't think we've got any more lives scheduled for this week. And I believe that's right. P, I think she's still here. If not, I'll verify with her tomorrow. But I don't think we have any more scheduled. She said until almost the end. And then yes, we will not be here this weekend because Sunday is our wedding anniversary. So, all right. Well, if they're at our leisure, I'll be posting the 5 videos tomorrow, and then we'll be doing 5 a day until we get to chapter 49. So when we get to the group of 49, we'll be going live again. So once again, I want to thank everybody for coming out, hanging out with us for these. What were we out here tonight? Almost 3 hours. 100. You got 21K likes, everybody. So on the way out, a lovely one for you. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Thank you all for being here. All right. And then, of course, we're going to leave with the man.
Rune Dannon, Crown Prince of the Balbaran Fae.
The first in, last out. All right, folks. Have a great night. Thank you for all the anniversary wishes, for all the likes and loves, and we will see you next time. Until then, stay happy, stay healthy, be wise. Have a good one, folks.